Pretty good.
All right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. You see it. You know, it's pretty clear. A little bit closer.
Closer to the card?
Yeah, to the camera.
32. Huh?
Yeah, right there's cool.
Oh.
Yeah. Matter of fact, just bring it all the way back so that that light won't come out. Hey, shalom, Israel. We live right now, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hey, shalom, everybody. I want to welcome y'all to class again, and
Come.
today's topic is gonna be about. Hold on, because I thought this was fixed. Let me lock this in real quick. Let me change this up.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know. It was on before. Hold on. Today's topic is about walking with courage. You know what I'm saying? So shalom, everybody. Let me go ahead and cut that off. Yeah, we ready. Shalom. We just want to give a shout out also to one of the sisters that watch us online. She sent us a lot of Bibles and a lot of apocryphas, and we want to say the water for that to the sister. I'm not here to put somebody's charity on blast, because you know what the scriptures say. Matter of fact, let's go there. Matthew chapter 6, start at verse 1 real quick. Not to put anybody's charity on blast, but I will say this: if you feel compelled, if the Most High put it in your heart, most definitely we take donations, we take Bibles, we take maps, historical information. We take apocryphas, Bibles. So if you have a connection with free Bibles or free apocryphas, even notebooks, notebook paper, things like that of that nature, we can use those items for class sake and for learning. This is a Bible school, so a Bible school does need material, and everything that we do to keep this school going is either propelled out of our own pockets, our own labor, our own hands, or the generosity of the members of the followers of our classes. So we want to say the water to the sister that sent a nice load of Bibles for the classroom and for the apocryphas as well. But like I said, I'm not going to name names for this reason right here. Go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 1.
Matthew 6 and verse 1. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men.
And this is why he said, take heed that you not do your alms before what?
Before men.
And that's why I'm not going to put her name out there as far as, trying to put her out in the open and let it be known what a good job she's done as far as the help that she's provided us. Go ahead.
To be seen of them.
Because it's not to be seen of men. It's not to be recognized from men. Because the recognition that I'm pretty sure that we want for our charity doesn't come from men. We're not looking or seeking for recognition from men. Go ahead.
Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father.
Because if man says, hey, good job, hey, what a great job or work you've done as far as the charity that you've provided for the church, then you don't have what?
No reward.
Then you lose your reward. So we don't want anybody to lose their blessing. So because we don't want anybody to lose their blessing, we're not going to name names about who gave us the donation. But I will say we appreciate each and every donation that everybody has to offer. All right. So if the Most High put it in your heart to give, we will receive it and we'll be thankful for it and grateful for it. Read on.
Come. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
And that's why we're not going to name names. We don't want to take that blessing away from anybody. Go ahead.
Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee.
And we're not going to put people's charity on blast, because we don't want to. We want the Most High to see them, not us. Go ahead.
As the hypocrites do in the synagogues.
Go ahead.
And in the streets.
Read on.
That they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward.
And if you get glory from men, if you get recognition from men, then there was your reward right there. If man pats you on the back, if man says good job, if man says, oh, I appreciate it, thank you, you're such a giving, charitable person, you're such a goodwill, good nature, wholehearted person to give to the church. However you give this person recognition or accolades or thanks, then what the Most High has to give this person has been taken away. Read on.
But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth.
Go ahead.
That thine alms may be in secret.
And this is the whole point. And this is why we're not saying the sister's name, because we want her alms to be what?
In secret.
In secret. Go ahead.
And thy Father which seeth in secret.
Because the Most High, which watches us in what?
In secret.
He's watching how we give our alms, how we perform our charity. He said, read on.
Himself shall reward thee openly.
And the Most High will let this sister know, or the ones that have been giving donations, and if you have any questions on how to give or what to give, we most definitely don't mind giving that list to you. Like I said, we can always use pens, papers, books, highlighters, Bibles, apocryphers, dictionaries, Bible encyclopedias, Bible dictionaries, Zondervans. We could use these things. And if you want to give, we're not going to put your name out there because we want the Most High to reward you how?
In secret.
In secret.
And
openly.
Reward thee openly.
And reward thee openly. So that way you know that your charity and your gifts that you give and what you provide the church is between you and the Most High and you and the Most High only. All right? So like I said, I want to just say the water for those that's giving. I just want to open the class up with that because some people are giving, but I'm not going to put it out there. So, and if you want to give, you feel compelled to give, by all means, please do. We have a Cash App. I believe it's isbhpk.
It's a weed 144.
No, that's another one. It's isbhpk. Might be San Antonio. Or is it dollar? What is it? Dollar sign.
It's dollar sign ISBHPK San Antonio.
It's dollar sign ISBHPK San Antonio. So if you want to give, like I said, it doesn't have to be financial, but if you desire to, we'll take that as well, and you can send that to dollar sign ISBHPK San Antonio on the Cash App. All right, and I know we have other forms of giving; it's just not on top of my head, but we will provide that as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the class. Today's topic is about walking with courage. All right, this is today's topic. We got a crying baby, so we're just gonna read aloud to speak to read over the crying. All right, so let's go to Deuteronomy. We're starting off with Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Let's go ahead and start off with that.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7.
Kyle for posting that on the thread. All right, well let's start there. Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 7.
Remember the days of old.
It says, do what?
Remember the days of old.
It's necessary in order to have courage. Courage comes from somewhere. It comes from a place. It comes from an origin. Courage has an origin. He says it comes from people that have had it and used it in prior time. That's why it says, remember the days of old. Read on.
Consider the years of many generations.
And consider how did men make it through their life. Because in order for you to have courage today, sometimes you have to pull from people. You have to pull from circumstances. And you have to pull from past actions. And you have to pull from other people's testimonies. He said, remember the days of old. If you don't have courage, first of all, let's get the definition of courage real quick before we get started. Definition of courage in the 1828 Webster's.
Courage. Bravery.
It says what?
Bravery.
Go ahead.
Intrepidity.
Go ahead.
The quality of mind. It's like that quality of mind.
It's a quality of mind. So it's a state of mind. It's a quality of mind. Read on.
Which enables men to encounter danger.
So it enables you. It empowers you. It gives you the ability to encounter danger. Read on.
And difficulties with firmness.
And with difficulties, so you can get through life with what?
With courage.
With firmness. Firmness, right? We don't have to read definition of firmness. You know what he's showing you? That you're just not shaken. You're not easily moved by circumstances. So in order for you to live life is going to send its form of challenges. Yeah. Life is going to send you things that's going to catch you off guard. That's going to put you in a hole. It's going to put you in a bind. And it's going to set you back in how you feel, in your emotions. You have to have courage to make it in life every day.
It's meant to be that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's meant to be that way. And this is why even the class I taught last week was about the struggle being necessary. It's a necessary part of your life in order to attach yourself to the Most High. For those that may have remembered or saw the class. But you need courage to make it every single day. It's a quality of mind that you have to add to yourself. If you don't have it, then life is even that much harder living if you don't have courage.
So a life without courage is going to be even more challenging than it already is.
You know what? A life without courage. Go here. Proverbs chapter give me this right quick in Proverbs. Let me get it real quick. Proverbs 18 and 14.
Proverbs 18 and verse 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity.
It says, however strong your spirit is, it will help hold you up during what?
Infirmity.
During times, infirmities or weaknesses or sicknesses. So he says, the spirit of a man shall sustain what?
His infirmity.
So however strong your spirit is, that's what's going to help you get through whatever adversity that life is throwing your way. Or whatever circumstance that or condition that you're in that's hard to overcome, whether it be obstacles, hurdles, whether these be physical ailments, whether these be mental ailments, whether these be social inabilities. I have no friends. I have no help. I'm by myself. People don't talk to me. I don't talk to people. I don't reach out. People don't understand me. Whether you have social illnesses where you don't know how to connect with people, whether you got mental illnesses, where your own mind is your own prison, whether you got physical ailments where your body is pulling you down and causing you to be handicapped or set back at whatever stage or rate, whatever the case may be, you're going to need courage to make it in life.
So if I have courage, I don't have courage, it affects my situation.
Right. He said the spirit of a man does what?
The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity.
Right. So my situation is only held up based upon how strong my spirit is. He said, but read on.
But a wounded spirit.
But if I got a weak spirit and I'm without courage, go ahead.
Who can bear it?
Who can bear it? Meaning what? Who can endure, which means you're not going to last long with a wounded spirit. You're not going to last long with a wounded mind, with a wounded thought process, or a lack of confidence or courage, a lack of firmness. You have to become harder in your life, because that's what courage is. It's a quality of mind that makes you harder or more firm. So that means I have to become more tempered, like you temper glass. Glass is blown by sand. You blow glass by heating up sand. Now, you can add chemicals to the sand. There are certain acidic elements that you can add to sand, which can harden sand damn near as hard as metal or as hard as wood. And that can be able to withstand thousands of degrees of heat. Depending on the chemicals and the heat that you heat it up to, it becomes even that much harder. Who knew sand can form glass that can withstand being dropped, or can withstand being put in the oven at 450 degrees or 500 degrees? Who knew that glass could withstand such amount of heat? It's the same way with your spirit. You're supposed to make your spirit firm so it can withstand whatever life is throwing at you. Not only the conditions that you already have to go through in life, but whatever Satan is adding on to your tribulation and struggles. You have to be able to overcome these situations. Not like you can beat life you can beat life. You can't beat life, because you know what? You live and you're going to die eventually. So you can't beat life, but you have to be firm to get through life. We're all going to die eventually. We're all going to get old. The body's going to wither down. It's going to break down. The mind depreciates, diminishes. The physical attributes diminish. Your diet diminishes. Everything starts to diminish with age. But what you can do, even as you go through, as you age, you can still sustain yourself by having a strong spirit. That's why I said the spirit of a man shall do what?
Sustain his infirmities.
Sustain his infirmities. But a wounded spirit who can bear. So courage is a necessary element. It's a necessary quality of mind that you need to get through everyday life. And the better and more firm you become, and the more courage you add to yourself, the easier life gets. And these are facts. So let's go back to the scripture we started with, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
So it's safe to say, as my life intensifies, my courage intensifies.
It
Same
should.
thing?
It should intensify. My courage should intensify in order to not succumb, to not fall when temptation comes my way, or adversity or tribulation comes my way. It's a necessary sustaining element that you need in your life in order to function in this life. You need courage to function in life.
Come.
And what we'll find out is that the more courage you possess, the more the Most High uses you as a beacon of light and as a lighthouse for other people so that they can sustain themselves in life.
Wow.
All right? Let's read that real quick. Back to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old.
That's why he said, do what?
Remember the days of old.
Go ahead.
Consider the years of many generations.
You got to consider how people have been on earth for over 5,000 years. You're not the first to go through life and hit a brick wall. You're not the first to go through life and have a hard time. You're not the first to go through life and hit tribulation. You're not the first to go through life and things don't go your way. And life isn't working out the way you planned it. You're not the first to go through it. That's why it says you got to start looking back and start digging deeper into other people's life who've lived previously to you, who made it through life without having to succumb to life's ills, to the evils in life. Read on.
Ask thy father.
He said you're supposed to ask who?
Thy father.
You're supposed to be able to go to your elders and find out, how did you make it when you were in my situation? You're supposed to go to your mother, your fathers and mothers, those that had preceded you in life. You're supposed to be able to go to them and say, what did you do when you were in my shoes? What did you do when you were in my situation? How did you overcome this circumstance? When life threw this at you, they say like give you lemons, you make lemonade, right? These are just sayings and quotes that people use to say you make the best out of a bad situation. Scripture even say that. It says, be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with what?
Good.
With good. There's a way to not compromise your faith and your belief in the Most High just because of evil situation or people are being evil. I don't have to compromise myself and my sanity because people or my circumstances evil, or it's contrary to my desire. It's contrary to what I want. So there is ways of overcoming it, but the way you overcome it is you have to be able to draw from the past, and that's what elders are for. Elders are necessary because they've been in situations, they've been in many battles, they've been in circumstances that you need to get next to them and be able to pull from their testimonies in order to get through your testimony. That's what the elder sisters are for. That's what the elder brothers are for. But truthfully, you could learn from many people's testimony, but particularly the elders, because they're going to give you the right testimony for you at that situation, for where you are in your life and your development. They'll give you the right testimony and the right experience.
So I don't have to experiment.
Right. I don't have to learn the hard way, so to speak. Because unfortunately, that's what happens with people. People that learn on their own, they try to go through life figuring it out as they go. They learn the hard way. That's not how the Most High set it up.
So learn the hard way is the scripture. I'm groping by noonday.
Right. I'm blind.
I'm blind.
Right. I don't know, but I put myself in this position because I'm not asking my what?
Elders.
I'm not asking my elders. I'm not communicating. I'm not reaching out. I'm not pulling from them. I'm not drawing strength from them. I'm not getting the right mentality to overcome my circumstance from them.
So I'm not using what the Most High, the blessing the Most High gave me. He gave me the book. He gave me teachers, elders. He gave me people that have experiences.
Absolutely.
And if I'm not drawing from those sources, then what am I going to draw from?
I'm a draw from experiment. That's what I'm gonna draw from. Trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Trial and error is the hardest way to learn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it because I'm gonna try to see if I can do it my way. I want to see if my way works. And then you know what happens when your way don't work? You start back at zero, ground zero.
I can understand why people lose faith and lose heart and lose courage,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a track record of failures in certain arenas. I'm not saying all,
Mm-hmm.
but in certain arenas that I don't pull from the right sources, I'm gonna have a track record or a pattern of not being victorious,
Mm-hmm.
and that over time will have an effect on my.
You know what the long-term effect is of constantly trying things my way?
Mm-hmm.
Trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it. It didn't work. I tried it. It didn't work. I tried it. It didn't work. So now I want to give up hope. Because that's all that happens when when people try something and they keep failing at it is that they lose hope in what they're doing. They lose hope in the Most High. They lose hope in the process. And this is what the Most High, and we're going to find out in the class, this is exactly why the Most High wants you to have courage, and this is exactly why he wants you to pull from your elders. So that your end result, when you have a hard time, when you go through life and things are not advantageous to you and beneficial to you, you don't give up, you don't get weak, you don't become weary in well-doing, you don't lose focus, you don't get off track, and you don't start making mistakes, and you don't deviate from the path that the Most High has you going on. The Most High is, like I said last week, the Most High has this life of yours by design. He says, have not the potter power over the clay. So the Most High has your life on a particular path. Now, you can deviate from that path if you want to, but that's up to you. That's why Christ said this. Matthew chapter 22, verse 29. Read that. It's not part of the class, but we're just kind of building the point.
Matthew chapter 22 and verse 29. Okay.
Yeah, read that.
Okay. And Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, Ye do err.
He said, you do what?
Ye do err.
He said, you do err. E-R-R. Go ahead.
Not knowing the scriptures.
He said, because you don't know the what?
The scriptures.
Oh, you know what? The Most High gave you the scriptures so you can be pulling from these testimonies of success. He gave you the scriptures so you can be pulling from people in past lives and situations that have gone through life's troubles and made it out victorious and made it out with flying colors. That's why it says, ye do err, not knowing the what?
The scriptures.
And because you don't know the scriptures, you also are alienated and disconnected from what? Read on.
Nor the power of the Most High.
And then so now you don't know how the Most High works with you. Now the Most High doesn't work for me. No, I don't. You know, maybe the Most High loves you more because He works for you, but the Most High don't work for me. You know, the Most High works for everybody. The Most High is not working for me is because I don't know the what?
The scriptures.
Because I'm not drawing from the source that I need to be drawing from to get my courage from, to get my confidence from.
True.
You're supposed to read the scriptures to pull from these situations, pull strength from these men that you're reading about and their circumstance, and these women that you're reading about and their circumstances. If I'm a young woman and my womb is barren, I can go to the Bible and find other women in the Bible whose womb is barren.
Same circumstance.
Same circumstance.
Things written.
And I can it was written for what? For
Our
learning. So I can go to the Bible and say, you know what? Am I alone in the fact that my womb is closed? Am I alone in the fact that I got one fallopian tube? Am I alone if brothers that may have complications, may have one testicle? Brothers may feel like I'll never have a child because my stones are wounded. So now, is it over for me because I'll never be able to generate a child because I'm dealing with a broken womb, broken fallopian tubes? You know, my ovaries aren't producing. I'm not ovulating correctly. Whatever the case may be. So how do I get through this circumstance? You're not alone. You will not be the first. You're supposed to go to the Bible and find out the Bible. Out of all the women in the Bible, how did the Most High deal with them who couldn't have a child? I'm just using this for an example. This is not the class. This is just an example of who and how you're supposed to be pulling strength and in order to stay on track. What's necessary to stay on this path? What Christ said was, ye do err, not knowing the what?
The scriptures.
Know what?
Know the power of the Most High.
That err means to deviate or to go astray from one's course, aim, or purpose. So I get off track because I don't know the scriptures. Not knowing the scriptures is what's necessary for me to sustain a strong spirit.
Because of this too. And when we say not knowing the scriptures,
but hold on, let me say this correctly. No. Not knowing the scriptures is a penalty. And is a punishment, and I'm setting myself up for failure, and I will deviate from the course, aim, or purpose that the Most High got me on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and in particular, not knowing how the scriptures apply to me at this current moment. Because I don't know the scriptures. That's one thing. I don't know the color of Christ. I don't know about my nation.
I'm brand new.
I'm brand new. But then when you've known this information, you're not brand new. How do the scriptures apply to my current situation or condition?
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is why he says the error is so. And when Christ says do not err, he's telling us, don't deviate from what you've been created for. To deviate, to err, that ERR means to deviate from one's true aim, course, or purpose. So the Most High got a purpose for you. The Most High got a direction for you. The Most High got something set up for you. Don't walk away or deviate from what the Most High got set up for you. Is what he's saying. He says this happens when you don't know the scriptures. What is the Most High got set up for us? Right? That's the question. What does the Most High got set up for us? Go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9.
First Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
What does the Most High got set up for us?
A chosen generation.
You've already been handpicked. The Most High already chose this generation. You know what all the Most High needs to Award went over this on Monday. About the Most High don't need a whole lot to work with to overcome a situation. And he doesn't need to work in large numbers. So he don't need a whole generation like a multitude of people. Matter of fact, go to Psalms 22 and read verse 30. It don't have to be a whole lot. He don't need millions of people to be an example.
Psalms 22.
Or to get his point across. Or to glorify his name and attribute his virtue. Read this right here.
Psalms 22 and verse 30. A seed shall serve him.
He said, the Most High said it only takes a what?
A seed.
A seed is small, man. A seed is tiny. He don't need the whole world to serve him to be examples of what it means to believe. He just said he needs a what?
A seed.
He said it needs a small seed. It only takes a small amount of a handful of individuals. He says shall serve him, and the Most High says what? Read.
It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation.
And then Most High said, I'll count that small seed as a whole what?
Generation.
As a generation. So all it takes is a few people that believe, just backing up and reinforcing what Award taught on Monday. So read that right there in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
But this is the course. This is your purpose in life. The Most High chose you. He selected you. He said you're a chosen generation. All you got to do is serve the Most High. You've been set up for something great. Read on.
A royal priesthood.
He says you're a royal priesthood. You're royalty. A priesthood is the ability to serve the Most High. Read on.
And holy nation.
He says the Most High said you're a set apart nation. You're a handpicked, set apart, selected, consecrated nation. You're chosen for something great. The Most High got something great set up for you. The problem is we don't see the victory because we don't have the necessary elements to get to the point to be able to see what the Most High has in store. We don't have the courage or the state of mind or the quality of mind to wait to see what the Most High is doing with us. You need courage to get to the point to where now you're this holy nation. You need courage to get through what the Most High is trying to put you through in order to inherit what he has to offer you. It takes courage in order to inherit what these promises that the Most High got. That's my whole point. You have to have courage to get to this
once
point.
a person loses courage, that's when their fight diminishes.
Right. And you know what he's showing? I'm only showing this in 1 Peter 2 because I'm trying to show what the prize is, what the victory is. So in order for me to get to that point where I get what the Most High has in store for me, you're going to have to add on courage into your life until you get there. Until the Most High puts you next to him in the kingdom, then you got to have courage from now until that point. And if you don't have that quality of mind, you need to develop it. And that's why I said in Romans chapter 14, let that go. Go to Romans chapter 14, verse 11 real quick. This is something that has to be instilled in each and every one of us.
Romans 14:11. For as it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me.
He said every knee shall what?
Shall bow to me.
Read on.
And every tongue shall confess to the Most High.
Read on.
So then, every one of us shall give account of himself.
It said every one of us shall give what?
Account of himself.
Go ahead.
To the Most High.
To the Most High. So each and every one of us is responsible for being this chosen generation, this royal priesthood, this holy nation, this set apart nation. Each and every one of us plays a major role, and each and every one of us have a responsibility. Your responsibility is that you have to develop the faith necessary for to show the Most High that you believe in him while you, what the Most High uses in this circumstance is a variety of hurdles and obstacles that life is going to throw at you that you have to overcome. And as you overcome them, the Most High is expecting you to go through them. He's expecting you to be victorious in your everyday battles. He's expecting you to walk through battles and in life, not with your head down, but with faith and encouragement, with firmness. He don't want you easily broken or easily cracked. Somebody that has temperance. Temperance is the ability to be calm under pressure. That means I don't lose my mind when things are not comfortable, when the pressure is on. When the pressure is on me, I don't break. I don't crack. I don't become brittle when the pressure is on me in my life. Yes.
Is that what faint-hearted means?
Yes. The faint-hearted just means weak. Weak. Actually, one of the definitions of faint-hearted is weak-minded. You know what I'm saying? So it's weak-minded. So my mind is weak. I don't have any fortitude because I lack courage. And that's not what the Most High wants. He wants your faith to be strong. That's why he said in Romans 10:17, he said what?
Romans 10:17. So then faith cometh by hearing.
He said faith comes by what?
Hearing.
That's why if you don't have what's necessary to go through life, then you should be pulling from your elders. You should be asking your fathers. You should be searching the scriptures. And you should be hearing the word of the Lord. Because all these things are going to build you up and make you more courageous. And it's going to give you a better quality of mind. It's going to give you a better understanding that the Most High is present with you at all times. That's why I said faith coming by what?
Hearing.
And hearing what?
And hearing.
Music?
Hearing.
Little baby?
Hearing.
Boosie?
Hearing.
Hearing who?
By the word of the Most High.
Faith comes by hearing what?
The word of the Most
I
High.
only said that because we were talking about that earlier. He said, but faith comes by what?
By hearing the word of the Most High.
So the more I hear the words of the Most High, I get stronger in my faith. The more I ask my elders about their testimonies, what got them through their life, I get stronger in my faith. The more I read the scriptures, the more I'm able to stay on course and stay on track for what I've been created for. So that's why it's so necessary that in order for me to live life properly and to stay on track, I got to pull from different sources of strength. The scriptures is a source of strength. The word of the Lord is a source of strength. My fathers, my elders' testimonies are words of strength. I can pull from them. The testimonies of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I can pull from their strength. I can pull from Noah. I can pull from David. I can pull from Daniel being in the lion's den. I can pull from the three holy children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I can pull from Susanna. I can pull from all these individuals in the scriptures. And it adds on to my quality of mind. It gives me a better state of mind. The more you dig in the Bible, the condition of your mind becomes better and more well off and more durable, giving you the strength necessary to overcome obstacles. It's not hard to understand. Let's go here though. Luke chapter 11 verse 2.
Luke chapter 11 and verse 2. And he said unto them, when ye pray.
Now, what's also necessary in order to develop this faith is to do what?
Pray.
Is to pray. Read.
It says, when ye pray, say, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in heaven, so in earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone that is indebted to us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend?
Now stop right there. He said, what Christ just did was he gave them a set of instructions, right? He said he showed them how to pray, and he also showed them what to pray for, right? Now we know the Lord's Prayer because it's right here in Luke chapter 11, right? He taught them how to pray. It's also in Matthew chapter 6 verse 9. So Christ is, people focus on the Lord's Prayer, but they tend to forget the lessons that he has to give his disciples after the Lord's Prayer. So what we do is we'll memorize the Lord's Prayer and we'll pray this prayer, but we forget what's important is to add on the remaining part of this prayer and the parable that he created to give his disciples a lesson. We tend to not pick up or appreciate this other aspect immediately of what he was trying to show them after he showed them how to pray. After he showed them what to pray for, there was another lesson involved that associated with the prayer, that went along with the prayer. So what's the lesson? What's the parable? Let's read that now.
This is right here. It says, verse 5, and he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight?
He said, which of you got a friend and can go to your friend's house at what?
Midnight.
You knock on your... He says, I'm giving you this parable. It's a story created to teach a lesson. Which of you having a friend will go to your friend at midnight, knock on your friend's door at midnight, read on,
and say unto him,
friend, I need something from you. Go ahead.
Lend me 3 loaves.
He said, I need 3 loaves from you. I need 3 loaves of bread at midnight. 3 loaves of bread, man. You better go to a 24-hour store, man. You better catch a gas station or something. You know how we do it. We probably, man, I ain't got it, man. Why you at my house knocking on my door at midnight for 3 loaves of bread? Read on.
For a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him.
Right. He said, I gotta prepare a dinner for somebody that's coming to me, and I don't got nothing to set before him. Go ahead.
And he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not.
Even Christ knows this. What? You knock on your friend's door at midnight for 3 loaves of bread.
Somebody better be dead.
It better be real important. You know, it's hard to knock on somebody or call somebody at midnight to get you out of jail, let alone borrow 3 loaves of bread. Hey man, I need you to come get me. Where you at? I'm in the cooler. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the county. Well, have you seen the judge yet? No, but they said if I come up with 150, they'll let me out.
Oh,
Let me see what I can do. Call me in the morning. I'm not going to get up and go down to the magistrate and pay this 150 right now at midnight. He said, you could barely find somebody to do that, but let alone for some bread. Read on.
trouble me not. The door is now shut.
Man, go ahead.
My children are with me in bed.
He said, man, all my kids are asleep. I ain't trying to wake them up. I got to go to work in the morning. They got school in the morning. Whatever we want to use as an excuse. Read on.
I cannot rise and give thee.
I can't do it, man. It's not good time. It's bad timing. Read on.
I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him.
He says, yes, that's true. It is hard to get somebody to do something when it inconveniences them. When it's beyond their time that they want to give. Read on.
Because he is his friend.
Go ahead.
Yet because of his importunity.
Now, after Christ taught them how to pray, and he taught them what to pray for, he showed them something that was necessary as a value to add to their prayer. He says, because of what?
Of his importunity.
He says, because of his importunity. You got the definition?
Urgent request.
Yeah, read the definition.
Pressing socialization.
It says pressing what?
Solicitation.
Pressing solicitation.
Urgent request.
It's an urgent request. I'm banging on the door. I'm pressing the solicitation of. Go ahead.
Application for a claim or favor.
Application for a claim or a favor. Go ahead.
Which is urged with troublesome frequency.
It's urged with what?
Troublesome.
Troublesome frequency.
It's urged with troublesome frequency. Read on.
Or pertinacity.
Or pertinacity. Go ahead. Pertinency. Go ahead.
It's not.
That's it, right? So he says, because of his importunity, he's showing you that along with your prayer, along with your as you pray, showing them how to pray and what to pray for, he said, add this element. This is a necessary element also when you want something real bad to add on to your mentality. He said, add this importunity. He said, because of importunity, read on.
He will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given you.
And he said, listen, I showed you how to pray. I showed you what to pray for. He says, but when you come to the Most High, you got to come with some urgency. You got to come with some pertinency. You got to come with some frequency. You got to come with some troublesome or frequent demands. When you come to the Most High, if you're lacking something and you really want it real bad, the Most High will look upon you when you want something bad enough. He'll look upon you based upon your consistency. So if I'm lacking in something, the Most High will give it to me based upon how consistent I am, how persistent I am, how urgent I want it, how bad I want it. Read on. That we at?
It says, seek and ye shall find.
Read on.
Knock and it shall be open unto you.
But knock with some what? With some urgency. See, if I'm lacking something, if I'm lacking courage, and I really want to show the Most High that I believe, then you have to add some urgency to your desire, along with your prayer and your requests, with your solicitation. You got to show the Most High. You want growth? If you want to overcome a situation or obstacle in your life, you better add some type of urgency or desire behind how bad you want to change your situation. If you're in a battle and you want to overcome the battle, then you got to add on some type of urgency and show the Most High, man, I really want to overcome this situation. For example, if I'm in the gym trying to get in shape, if I go to the gym once a month, is that going to change something?
No.
No. Is that going to change something? Not at all.
That's not pertinent.
That's not pertinent. There's no importunity in there. There's no constant solicitation. There's no urgency. But if I'm in the gym 7 days a week, I'm in the gym 7 days a week because I want what?
Results.
I want results. That's how you know somebody wants results. Because they'll be in the gym 7 days a week. That's how you know somebody is dedicated to what they're trying to achieve. It's the same thing that the Most High is looking at when you come to him and you want something. Are you going to come and ask me for something once a week, once a month? You're inconsistent. You show that you want it, then you come back and you don't. How can you show the Most High that you're dedicated if you have this level of urgency?
I only want it some days.
I only want it some days. You know what? People that go to the gym sometimes only have results sometimes. People that eat healthy sometimes only have the benefits of eating healthy sometimes. People that eat healthy all the time see the benefits of eating of the body changing all the time. They get faster and quicker results. If I'm in the gym 7 days a week, I get results. If I'm studying on a regular basis, I get results. If I'm in the scriptures on a regular basis, I get results. Not just praying because Christ showed his disciples what to pray for, or how to pray and what to pray for. But along with that, he said you got to match your prayer with some type of urgency if you want to see change. And you know what? And this is what the Most High wants from all of us, even in our courage or even in our faith. If I'm gonna add on courage, or if I'm gonna add on faith in my life, I gotta be consistent, and I gotta be persistent, and I gotta be urgent about change. And this is what the Most High is looking for. Hebrews 11:6. Yeah, read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hebrews 11 and verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
And you know what the Most High, he said, without faith, it's impossible to what?
Please him.
But it's not just the faith. It's not just the faith. It's faith and something else. Read on.
For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is.
And that's what the prayer is for. Because I'm asking the Most High to help me because I believe in the Most High. And that's why I'm praying to the Most High, because I believe in him. But along with my prayer and my belief, read on.
And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
That I also know that in order for the Most High to bless this situation, or to bless my circumstance, or to bless this shortcoming that I have, or this issue that I have, or this setback that's going on in my life, or this tribulation that I'm enduring, I have to diligently seek the Most High. Definition of the word diligent is what? steady in application to business, constant in effort or exertion to accomplish what is undertaken. I'll read it again. Diligent, steady in application to business, constant in effort or exertion
It's that frequency.
to accomplish what is undertaken. So along with my prayer and my desire, my faith and my belief, and I'm asking the Most High, I need your help. I gotta show the Most High some what? Some diligence. You can't be on and off and expect results. You cannot. You cannot be sometimey with the Most High and expect the Most High to just unload the blessing for you.
Here you go.
You can't be inconsistent
Come.
and expect the blessing.
Come.
Or you can't be inconsistent and expect results. Because that's what we do. We expect the Most High to come through at certain times in our life, but we're inconsistent with Him. We have to be more fervent with Him. We have to be more dedicated to Him. We have to be more constant with Him.
Come.
All this is adding up to the state of mind or quality of mind that the Most High wants us to have on a regular basis. I got to be constant in my faith. And He says the Most High is a rewarder of them that what?
Diligently seek Him.
Diligently seek Him, right?
Okay.
Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58.
15 and verse 58.
Yeah, to add on to this right quick, to add on to this verse.
Okay.
1 Corinthians 15 and verse 58.
Read that.
Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast.
That's why the scripture says what?
Be ye steadfast.
That's why the scripture says, be ye steadfast. That means that if I want to see results, and I want to see change, or if I want to see growth, or if I want to overcome a situation in my life, if I'm going to make it through this situation in my life, I have to hold on to my faith. I have to hold on to my courage. I have to display some form of courage in my life.
Come.
I have to be steadfast. That means that when things get hard, I don't just quit. I'm not quick just to say this doesn't work for me. It may work for you, but it doesn't work for me. I don't see how I'm going to get through this situation. This is not easy for me to endure. This situation is uncomfortable, or this situation is not fair in my life. I don't know everybody's situation, but I know everybody's in a battle. You know why? Because the scripture says what? In Ecclesiastes 2 and 1. It says what? My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord,
prepare thy soul for temptation.
For temptation. That means, you know what? You will, because you say you want to serve the Lord, guess what? It comes with what? It comes with temptation. It comes with tribulation. It comes with a battle. You can read it. Go ahead.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 1 reads, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
That means that the minute you open this Bible and you tell the Most High, I want to have a relationship with you, then that means He's going to put you to the test. He's going to test the quality of person that you are. He's going to test your faith. He's going to test your consistency. Do you have the capability to endure? Can you bear? Can you bear tribulation? Can you put up with uncomfortable circumstances or uncomfortable people?
Can you maintain courage?
Can you maintain your faith? Can you walk through this situation that's in front of you with the right state of mind? That's what He wants to know. He said, prepare thy soul for what?
Temptation.
Let that go. That's it. Everybody know this verse anyway. You should. He said, prepare thy soul for temptation, right? So go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 58 and read that one more time.
1 Corinthians 15 and verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast.
He said, be ye what?
Steadfast.
That's why as you're developing this relationship with the Most High, you have to add on to your request, add on to your prayer. You have to be steadfast, read on,
Unmovable.
and unmovable, meaning you have to be constant. You can't be wavery in your approach to serve the Lord. You can't be in the Bible sometimes, out of the Bible sometimes. You can't pray sometimes and not pray sometimes. You can't be wanting to be right by the Most High, and then some days I want to go back to my old life. You know, that's lukewarm. I want a relationship with the Father, but then I don't. I want to change, but then I don't. It's too difficult. or the process of change is taking too long. You know what you're lacking? You're lacking the ability to be immovable or steadfast. You're lacking diligence. And you're lacking diligence is because you're lacking courage. Courage is the quality of mind that gets you through those circumstances, and you can take it with joy. You can endure pain, whether it's of the body or the mind, and do it cheerfully. You're not, and still not look at the Most High with a negative outlook. That was the problem of why the Most High had to kill off so many thousands of us in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't endure the wilderness with the proper mentality. We couldn't endure the wilderness and still look at the Most High with the right attitude. We couldn't stay positive long enough as we walked through tribulation. What were we missing? We were missing courage. This is necessary. This is a necessary element to serve the Most High. You have to have it. If you don't have it, then you have to find it. If you don't know where to find it, you need to ask your elders. You need to ask your elders for their testimonies, along with reading the Bible for yourself. And as you read the Bible for yourself, you need to be consistent in your approach and your pursuit to have a relationship with the Most High. That's what's necessary. Finish that in 58.
God. Always abounding in the work of the Lord.
Always doing what?
Abounding in the work of the Lord.
Always growing in the what?
The work of the Lord.
In the work of the Lord. If you remain diligent, go to Proverbs 22 and 19. If you can sustain a diligent mentality.
Proverbs 22 and verse 19.
If you can stay steady in application, you're not going to change. What people want, they want the quick fix, fast in a hurry. I want to serve the Lord, and I want to be at a certain place with the Most High by tomorrow. Doesn't work like that. You know what? Change is quick, but it's based upon how dedicated you are.
That's true.
It doesn't take that long. You look up, before you know it, you've grown. I say this all the time. As a child, you always measure yourself up to people next to you. Whether it's your mom, your dad, or whatever. I can touch your shoulder. I can touch your head. I can touch your eyebrow. I'm up to your waist. As a kid, you always measure yourself up next to people. But you can't see your own growth. It's the same thing in the spirit. You can't see your own growth. But if you stay constant, if you stay dedicated, if you stay consistent, if you apply some importunity, if you stay relentless, you will see the results that you need to see over time. You look up, you're a whole new person with a whole new mentality. That's what it takes in order to change anything, whether it's your diet or your physical well-being. You have to be consistent. You can't be cold one day, then hot the next. You want to run 10 miles one day and then not run for 6 months. That's extreme. If I'm extreme in that nature, if I'm extreme in that behavior, I can't expect the proper results. I get no results if I'm extreme. You have to learn how to endure, be constant. That means I'm steady in my application. I'm going to keep doing what's necessary to keep changing and evolving and growing until I get the results.
So steadiness is connected to consistency.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? As far as courage is connected to consistency.
Exactly.
So
Read
if we're
that.
not consistent,
You know what? You're lacking something.
I'm wavering cocaine.
You're lacking something. Read this right here. Proverbs 22 and 29.
Proverbs 22 and verse 29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business?
It said you see a man, you want to use an example. You want to see a man that's diligent in his what?
Business.
Diligent in his business.
He says, this is the result of a man that stays diligent in his business. Go ahead.
He shall stand before kings.
He shall stand before who?
Kings.
So what shall elevate him to the point where he's standing in front of kings?
His diligence.
His diligence is what elevates people. Your diligence is what elevates you. Your diligence is what gets you to where you want to be in life. You cannot be inconsistent expecting life to just be good and open up all these blessings to you and for you. And the circumstances to get easier because you're just who you are. There still has to be some type of performance. There still has to be some type of actions that's necessary in order for you to develop or grow. On the other hand, you have other people. You got some that are diligent, which is steady in application to business, constant in effort or exertion to accomplish what is undertaken. Then you got these people on the other hand. Go to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse what?
27.
27.
So
Read.
some people will perform and do their service to the Most High with diligence, and they will be elevated. They will be elevated. They will grow. They'll be put in a position of authority. Then you have the not so diligent ones, the not so consistent ones. The ones that soon as things get hard or it's uncomfortable, I don't want to go through what's necessary to see the results. Read that.
God. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27 reads, the slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting.
He says the slothful man roasted not which he took in hunting, right? So that means the slothful man killed an animal to eat it. But didn't want to go through the process necessary to skin it, to fillet it, to cut it, to roast. Because cooking takes time. You don't just kill an animal and just throw it on the fire.
No, that's nasty.
Yeah, you gotta take it apart. You gotta break it down. You gotta cut off the fat, take out the organs. You gotta prep it and then you cook it. He said, but a slothful man, that's like you go. You know what? I bought this meat because I said I was gonna cook it, but it went bad in my refrigerator. I got all this meat that got freezer burn on it because I just didn't want to do what's necessary to take it out the freezer, let it thaw out because it takes too long. If I let it thaw out, that takes a couple of hours to thaw out. Then I gotta tenderize it. Then I gotta season it. Then I gotta prep it. Then I gotta cook it. I'm hungry right now. I want to eat right now. I don't got time for this. So you know what? There's a lot of waste. He said, a slothful man. He said he wastes. He wastes what he killed. That means I abuse the substance. Matter of fact, read on.
Come. But the substance of a diligent man.
He said, but the substance of a diligent man. Go ahead.
Is precious.
Is what?
Precious.
You know what substance is precious to a diligent man? What's precious to a diligent man?
His work. Business. Consistency.
Okay, if you have a business, how much you operate in business? If you have a business, how shall you operate in business?
It should be.
If you run a business, or if you, say it again. If you run a business, what must you maintain if you run a business?
Consistency.
Another word for consistency is what? What helps you stay consistent?
Motivation.
Simple.
Discipline.
Pride.
Results. Nope. If I run a business, that means I have to maintain a what? A schedule. What's a schedule for?
Order.
And what else? What does a schedule do?
Coordination.
Coordination for what? It keeps you what?
Organized.
Keeps you organized and what?
Structure.
Keeps you accountable, and it keeps you on track.
True.
So you know what happens when you got a schedule and you're organized? You stay on track and you stay on time. Because when you run a business, it's about staying consistent and staying on time. You can't get behind. He said, but you see a man that's diligent. He said the substance of a diligent man is what?
Precious.
So what is precious to a diligent man?
It's time.
His time. His time is precious to him. But it took a long time to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Take a long time. You know what I'm saying? That's what's precious. So you know the difference between a diligent person and a person with no diligence? Time management. A person that's not diligent, they waste what?
Time.
That's how you know they're not diligent. They waste time. They sat around all day expecting change, but change didn't come. But what have they been doing? Wasting time. But when you're dealing with a diligent person, he said his substance is precious to him. You know what's precious to a diligent person? Time is precious to him. He don't waste time on some type of element, atmosphere, platform that's gonna just waste away his opportunities. This is why I don't watch TV like I used to. You know what watching TV is? It's a waste of damn time when you got a lot of things on your plate.
Time travel.
You know what searching the damn internet does? You know, perusing, finding out who's doing what on Facebook and who's doing what on Snapchat, who's doing what on Instagram. You know what you're doing while you're doing that? Wasting time. You know what slothful people do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch TV and work out at the same time. You know, I'm going to do both. You know what? If that's where you start at, cool. That's where you start at. If you're going to spend 30 minutes watching TV, then do 30 minutes of straight push-ups. Then do 30 minutes of straight sit-ups. You know what'll happen during that time? Either you gonna say, man, the hell with this TV. I'm tired of watching TV. No, you're tired of doing these push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna say, you know what? I gotta give my mind that I can't serve two masters. Do some squats then. Do 100 squats. Do a squat for every minute that you watch TV. Do a squat. By the time you get to 75 squats, your legs is on fire, your body's on fire, your back is on fire. But you know what? At least you're doing something. At least you're starting somewhere. But you know what? If this is where you are, cool, so be it. But you know what he says? The substance of a diligent man is precious. You know what a diligent man don't do? A diligent man don't waste no time. He don't got time to be watching TV. Or she don't got time to be on the phone. I don't got time to be up on the phone all night. I don't got time. This time I could be doing something else with. I could be attaching myself, gaining a relationship with the Most High. You know what people don't do? People don't want to accept the fact that in order for me to get the right results that I want in my life, I got to operate on some type of schedule and taking advantage of every opportunity. This is what diligent people do. They take full advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. And this is what excels people. And this is what decelerates people. This is what causes people to slow down and not grow. And this is what excels people. And this is why some people grow faster than others. It's not that the opportunity wasn't there. It wasn't that. Matter of fact, go read the scripture right quick. Go to. Man, I gotta get this, man. It's in Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 11. I got it. It's Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 11.
Ecclesiastes.
Read it loud. Whoever read it.
Whoever got it, read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11.
Read this.
Diaphragm.
I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift.
He said the race of life is not to the what?
Swift.
It's not how fast you are. Go ahead.
Nor the battle to the strong.
It's not how strong you are. Because a lot of people think, well, you know what? You can run because you're fast. Or you can run because you're skinny, because you're strong. Or you can do this. People will say, well, you can do this because of this, this, and this. Because you have this advantage. Because it's easy for you to read the Bible. People will come up with a lot of excuses of why they're running the race and they're inadequate in their race. He said, but the race is not to the swift. It don't matter where you come from. That's why the Most High is an equal opportunity provider. He said, let the sun shine on the just and the unjust. The scriptures say the Most High Christ is the God of the living and the dead. You know what? The Most High is fair. You know what he does? He says not to the swift. It's not to the what?
Not to the strong.
Not to the strong. Read on.
Neither yet bread to the wise.
It says it's not to the wise. So you don't have to be a summa cum laude student in college to understand this truth. You didn't have to have straight A's in school to get this truth. You know what? The Most High is fair across the board. The Most High is fair with everybody. You know how the Most High is fair to everybody? Read on.
Nor yet riches to men of understanding.
Read on.
Nor yet favor to men of skill.
Read on.
But time and chance.
He said, but what?
But time and chance.
What did the Most High give everybody?
Time and chance.
The Most High,
and chance.
This is how you know the Most High is fair. You know what the Most High gives each and every one of us? Time and what?
Chance.
So you know what? It's what you do with your time. That's what chance is. It's opportunity. It's what you do with the opportunity when you get this truth. Either you will be diligent in your pursuit to get this truth and use it to your advantage? Or are you going to be slothful in your pursuit to use this truth and it will be not to your advantage? And this is why Christ said, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of the Most High. You know what the Most High gives? He gives everybody time and chance. What you do with it is your business. What you do when you leave class, what you do at home, what you do when you're driving, what you do with your time that's your business. But he said, seeth the man who is diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. This man who's diligent in his business, he should be elevated. There's a difference. Doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what happened to you in life, it doesn't matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter what capacity you have. You know what the Most High want to see? What did you do with the chance I gave you? What did you do with the time that I gave you? Yep.
Jeremiah 17:10.
Read that.
Jeremiah 17 and verse 10. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways.
So the Most High said he gives every man according to what?
To his ways.
So the Most High bless you according to your ways. Meaning, if I'm diligent, you get elevated. You get blessed. If you're not diligent, if your substance, which is your time and your opportunity that's in front of you, if it's not important to you, he says he will not roast what he killed. That means that you won't eat. That means you won't sustain yourself. You can't sustain yourself because you're squandering and you're wasting what the Most High has presented to you. He said, but time and chance has happened to them all. Each and every one of us have the same amount of time and the same opportunities when it comes to us gaining a relationship with the Father. Don't be mad. You know what happens? People that waste time get mad at people who didn't waste time.
God.
It's true.
You know, that's what happens. Go to Romans. I don't want to get off track. Go to Romans chapter 14, verse 1 real quick. Not to get off track. I don't want to get off track. But that's exactly what happened. You know what this person been doing? This person has been diligent. This person's been dedicated. This person's been fervent about change and growth. This other person is not. So you know what happened? It causes some type of conflict. I get mad when other people are growing and I'm not. Why? You got the same time and you got the same chance. You got the same opportunities. What are you doing with it? Read on.
Romans 14 and 1. Him that is weak in the faith, receive ye.
It said, but those that don't waste time, it says, receive the ones who may have wasted time. You know what I'm saying? Receive the weaker ones. If you're strong and you didn't waste time in this truth and you're growing, it says don't look down on the ones that's not growing. Read on.
But not to doubtful disputations.
You know what doubtful disputations are? There's conflict and there's disagreement and there's division between the person that's wasting time with the person that's not wasting time. It says the strong ones are supposed to receive the weak ones, but not to what?
Doubtful.
That means I'm not buying your excuses. I'm not buying your excuses, and I'm not going to let you tell me or convince me that you can't do something. I'm not going to let you convince me that the Most High don't work for you, that the Most High is not real, that the Most High is not a reward of them that diligently seek Him. I'm not going to let you convince me of your level of doubt. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying your excuses that you're trying to feed me. I'll receive you and I'll work with you, but I'm not buying your excuses. I'm not buying all these excuses of what you couldn't do and you didn't have time for and you didn't understand and you didn't know. What you did with your substance is your business. Read on.
For one believeth that he may eat all things.
It said, because you know what? Some men take this opportunity, this truth, and they grow from it, and they get strong from it. Some men have this level of faith. Go to Philippians 4:13.
Philippians, the 4 and verse 13. 13 and 14.
Is it 13? 14. I can do all things.
Nah. Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things.
Some men believe what?
I can do all things.
Some men have this level of faith. Some men have this level of courage. Some sisters have this level of faith. some sisters have this level of courage that I can do what?
All things.
He said, I can do all things through what?
Through Christ who strengthened me.
Does everybody have that level of faith? Does everybody have that level of courage? Does everybody have that level of belief? Does everybody believe that? Some people do, some people don't. So go back to now to finish that in Romans 14.
Romans 14:2. For one believeth that he may eat all things.
Exactly. Some believe I can do all things through Christ. There's no limit to me. There's no limit to my capacity. There's no limit to my growth. There's no limit to my development. Or no matter what battles are in front of me, I can overcome them. No matter what circumstances are standing against me, that stand in opposition to me, I can overcome this circumstance. Some feel like I can't get past this circumstance. Some people can't let the past go. I can't let go of what has happened to me. Some people say, you know what? Yes, I accept the things that have happened to me in my life, and I can overcome them. But read on.
Another who is weak.
Another who is weak, what?
Eateth herbs.
I eat herbs. That means my level of faith is small. My level of courage is small. My level of belief is small. My level of understanding is small. Read on.
Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not.
But I'm not. If I'm the strong one that has developed faith and courage, I can't look down on who?
Him that eateth not.
I can't look down on the weak ones. I can't look down on those who are brand new. I can't look down on those that are growing, that are developing, that are maturing. I can't look down on them. Even though that's all they can handle is herbs, I can't look down on them. If they can only handle reading the Bible for a few minutes at a time, then that's where they at. That's where they at. If they can only come to class and they can barely handle a counsel, as soon as you counsel them, they crumble. They break down. You put a little pressure on them, they get fragile. If that's all they can handle, that's what they can handle. But that's not the problem. The problem is the other way around. Read on.
And let not him, Salaki, let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth.
Go and it says, and let him that not eateth, meaning he can't handle that other man's level of faith. But don't let me, if I'm the weak one, if I'm the one that's fragile and I'm the one that's growing, I'm not supposed to hate the one that is growing either. I'm not supposed to look down on those that are growing, because that's an issue as well. Because everybody's growing at different rates. And because everybody's growing at a different rate, because everybody got the same time, everybody got the same chance, everybody got the same opportunity. What you do with it is your business. But if you're not growing, don't look down at people that are growing. And if you are growing, don't look down on people that ain't growing.
It's fair both ways.
It's fair both ways. Because you know what? You know what the Most High is expecting? Each and every one of us gonna have to bow down. Each and every one of us gonna have to bow down in fear and be accountable to the Most High for what we've done with this time. But that tends to happen when as we grow, we start to look down on each other. Or I start to say, well, I can't be like this person because this person, it's easy for this person because they can read the Bible. I have a hard time reading, or I don't speak this language. This is not my first language. Or, you know what? They make it look easy because they got the time. They don't got the responsibilities I have, so they got the time to dedicate themselves. I don't have the time to dedicate myself. You know, the Most High is very fair. Your growth and your development is self-paced. It's self-paced. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and read verse 10. Your growth and your development is self-paced.
1 Corinthians chapter 8. Verse 10. Read it.
Yep.
1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 10 reads, For if any man see thee which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple.
2 Corinthians. My apologies. Not first. Second. Just add another line on that.
2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 10. And herein I give my advice.
And this is why Paul said, this is why I'm giving my advice. This is advice or counsel or a set of instruction that you can add to yourself. Read.
For this is expedient for you.
He says, because this is beneficial for you. If you listen to my advice, it's beneficial for your development and your growth. You're trying to make a relationship with the Most High? Add my advice. This is my advice to you. Read on.
Come. For this is expedient for you.
Read on.
Who have begun before, not only to do.
He says, because you begun before, not only to do. Go ahead.
But also to be forward a year ago.
He says, but not just to sustain yourself. He said, but this advice that I'm going to give you is going to help you get ahead. Not just to be able to sustain yourself on a daily basis. He said, my advice to you will actually get you ahead a year. It's not to keep you sustaining. People just do so. They do enough to sustain themselves. He said, but if you follow my advice, I'll show you how to get ahead in life. I'll show you how to get ahead in your development, in your growth. Read on.
But also to be for a year ago.
Which means I'm ahead a year. Read on.
Now therefore perform the doing of it.
He says now, in order to get ahead, it takes what?
Perform the doing of it.
It takes a performance. What is a performance? A performance is required to get ahead of your development and your growth. So you can continue operating at your pace and at your schedule and at your level, but you will only sustain yourself. He said, but if you follow my advice, I will show you how to not just sustain, but how to get ahead. How do I get ahead in this truth?
Performing the doing of it.
The definition of perform or performance.
God. Performance. Execution.
It takes what?
Execution.
What does it take in order to get ahead in life?
Execution.
Execution of what?
The doing of it.
The word.
Executing the doing of it. What is it? What does he want you to execute, right? What is Paul saying about how to get ahead? You have to apply some execution. You have to execute. You have to apply yourself.
It says the completion of anything.
Right. You got to finish something. You got to finish something, right?
Antonym of procrastination.
Right. So I gotta finish something, right? I gotta finish what I start, right? But he's showing you that execution is based upon something. Read on. Read on in the scripture, not the definition.
Now therefore perform the doing of it.
Go ahead.
That as there was a readiness to will.
He says that you have to have a what?
Readiness to will.
You have to have a readiness to will. That means you have to execute or perform with a strong desire. See what the Most High is expecting from you if you want growth. If you don't, that's fine. If you want to stay where you're at, that's fine. That's up to you. But if you want growth, he says you have to match a performance with a desire to what?
Readiness to will.
A readiness to will is a desire. So matter of fact, to prove this, go to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12.
Proverbs 13 and verse 12.
There has to be a change somewhere in order to see results. Read this.
Hope deferred.
It says what?
Hope deferred.
It says when you don't get what you want, you're not getting the desired results. What happens when I'm trying to do something and I'm not getting the desired results? Read on.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
It makes my heart what?
Sick.
So if I'm trying to do something and I'm not getting the desired result, I get depressed. Depression will destroy progression. Read on.
But when the desire cometh.
He said, but when the desire cometh, meaning that's that readiness to will. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to give myself. I'm ready to perform. I'm ready to execute. I have this desire. Read on.
It is a tree of life.
Then I can grow. Now I can grow when my desire is now lit. I'm now lit with a purpose. All you need to serve the Most High is a strong desire to see change and development. The Most High is judging how bad you want something. Same thing Christ told his disciples about giving that friend a loaf of bread at midnight. He said because of his importunity, he will rise and give him everything that he asked. He's showing you that it takes something in order to get further than where you are. And what it takes is strong desire. Yes, sir.
Could you repeat the deference of hope?
A deference of hope, he said, maketh the heart sick, right?
Okay.
When the deferring of hope is when I'm trying to do something and I'm not getting the desired result that I want, that I'm looking for. When I'm giving myself to something and it's not working for me and I'm not seeing the results of it. He said that's what makes the heart sick. That's depression. I'm doing something in life and it's not working out for me.
Defer, to delay, to put off, to postpone.
So he's showing you that what takes, yes.
And that verse in 2 Corinthians 8:11, that word perform in the interlinear means complete.
It means to complete.
It is complete.
It is complete, or to finish what you start. Go back, matter of fact, go back to 2 Corinthians 8:10.
Come. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 10 reads, and herein I give my advice, for this is expedient for you,
Go ahead.
who have begun before, not only to do, but also to be for a year ago.
Go ahead.
Now therefore perform the doing of it.
But with what? With the desire. You perform with the desire. The Most High is not judging your background. He's not judging your education level. He's not judging your language. What he is judging is what are you doing with your time and the opportunity given to you. And how bad are you applying yourself based upon what it is that you're trying to accomplish. He's looking at growth is based upon desire. How bad do you want to grow? That's that importunate that we read about in Luke. That means I'm in my urgency of application to accomplish something. That definition of the word desire is that internal act which, by influencing the will, makes us proceed to action. Desire. That by definition, desire. Desire is that internal act which, by influencing the will, makes us proceed to action.
Come.
That's what desire is. You know what the Most High is basing growth on? How bad you want it. He's not basing it on your credit score, your test score, your ability to read and write. He's not basing growth in the spirit off none of these things. You know what he's basing it off of? What are you doing with the same time and chance that he gave to you like he gave to everybody else? And growth is desire based. You're only growing as bad. You're only going to grow as bad as you want to grow. And as consistent as you want to be will determine how far you go. The Most High is very fair. That's why I said desire by definition. He said desire is that internal act by which influencing the will makes us proceed to action. So what's going to make me proceed to action is your desire. How bad do you want something? Don't make excuses though when you're not growing because you squandered your time though. Or don't look at other people that are growing because they're growing faster than you because you're not applying yourself the same way because your desire is not stronger than their desire. You know what the Most High is making this true? How bad you want it. That's how he's setting development and growth up. You can grow as fast as you want to grow. You can understand and know as much as you want to know about the Most High. But you gotta put forth some type of performance. Finish that in 2 Corinthians 8.
Come. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 11 from the top reads, now therefore perform the doing of it, that as there was a readiness to will.
He says you gotta match your desire with your desire has to match the performance. That means that I can't sit back and be like, yes, I want to change, but your performance is lacking. I want growth. I want this relationship, but your performance is lagging. You're not consistent.
Is that because you don't really want it?
That means you don't really want it. So what he's showing you is he's showing you that two things are required. Growth is based upon your desire and the actions that you put forth behind that desire. You understand? Your actions must meet your desire.
So some can fool themselves.
That's why I said, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever man sow, that he shall also what?
Read.
You're only going to get out what you put in.
Right.
If you put in a bum effort in serving the Most High, you get bum results. It's not rocket science. It's easy to understand. But if you want change, that means you put in a diligent effort to get the Most High's attention, necessary to show the Most High that you want his presence near you at all times.
So why do some people get like intoxicated with those words like I want to change, or it's like they say it over and over, and that's enough to make them feel like they're doing something.
Well, you know what? That's why I said be not deceived. He says, because if you are a hearer of the word, it said be not hearers of the word, but doers of the word, deceiving your own selves. Right?
Matthew 6 and 7. But when you pray, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard of their much speaking. So I'm supposed to pray the Most High, yes. But if I'm sitting here just running my mouth and there's no action behind it, that's vain speaking. That's much speaking, but there's no action behind my speaking. It's empty words.
Right. So what he's showing is, he's showing you that your actions, like if I'm trying to work out, Shalom, if I'm in the gym, I got a membership, and I'm going once a month, does my desire to change, is it matching it? Is my performance matching my desire? No, it's not. And you can't trick the Most High by saying, yeah, I'm on this new diet. I'm eating better. I'm changing my diet. I'm working out. I can tell people that all day long. But if my actions don't match up what I'm saying, and I'm over here cheating at home, I got donuts in the car, I got cookies under the bed, I got ice cream in the thing. Man, you know what? There's alternatives. There are alternatives. There's vegan, there's plant-based food too. You know what I'm saying? But you better be putting forth some type of action behind what you're trying to show the Most High that you want from him. And that's what the Most High is asking for. Yes.
Real fast, Proverbs 14:23. Proverbs 14:23.
I'm out there.
Anybody?
Proverbs 14 and verse 23.
Uh-huh.
In all labor,
In all labor, all work, all diligence, all sacrifice, all work ethic, all effort to accomplish, to complete. Read.
there is a profit.
Growth, development. You know, you get into an end. In all work, there is what?
There is profit.
Benefit. Read.
But the talk of the lips.
What the what?
But the talk of the lips.
The much speaking. Read.
Tendeth only to penury.
It tended
Penury.
only to penury. Penury means extreme poverty.
Right.
So the talk of the lips tended to what?
Penury.
Extreme
It
poverty.
keeps you in a broken state.
Because there's no labor to profit.
And you know, and you know why there's no labor to profit? Because I wasted my time. I wasted my opportunities. Because you know what the Most High gave? He gave everybody the same time. He gave everybody the same opportunity.
Mhm.
But what you choose to do with it and what you made priority is your business. That is your business. When you have an opportunity, you're supposed to take full advantage of this opportunity. Go to 2 Kings chapter 13. Start at verse 14.
2 Kings 13, verse 14.
God.
We're still holding Deuteronomy?
Let Deuteronomy go. That was at the beginning of the class.
I know.
Yeah.
2 Kings 13,
Still
verse
holding.
14.
Go ahead.
Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died.
Everybody there? Everybody's there? 2 Kings chapter 13, right? Read that.
Come. 2 Kings chapter 13, 14. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died.
Now it's saying that Elisha obviously had a sickness and he ended up dying from his sickness, right? Go ahead.
And Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him and wept over his face and said, "O my father."
Now this is why Elisha was sick. While Elisha was sick, he said Joash came down and wept over Elisha and said, "Oh my father." Read.
"O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof."
Read on.
And Elisha said unto him, "Take bow and arrow."
He says, and read it again.
Elisha said unto him, "Take bow and arrow."
So now he's obviously Elisha knows his time has come. So Joash the king came to Elisha and said what? He gave him one opportunity. He says, take ye bow and what?
Arrows.
Go ahead.
And he took unto him bow and arrow.
Read on.
And he said to the king of Israel, put thine hand upon the bow.
He said, put your hand on the bow. Read.
And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hand.
And he said, and Elisha touched his hand. Touched the king's hand while his hand was on the bow, pulling the bow back. Read on.
And he said, open the window eastward.
So he's giving him instruction. Open the window eastward. Read on.
And he opened it. Then Elisha said, shoot.
He says, shoot this arrow, man. Let it go. Read on.
And he shot.
Go ahead.
And he said, the arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria.
He said, this arrow that I'm telling you to shoot by following my instructions, this means something. He said, by you shooting this arrow eastward out of the window, he said, this arrow represents what?
Deliverance.
He said, this arrow represents deliverance from who?
From Syria.
From your enemies, the Syrians. Read on.
For thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek, till thou have consumed them.
He says, you, with this arrow being shot, it represents you destroying your enemies in Syria, which is east of you. Read on.
And he said, take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, smite upon the ground.
He says, shoot these next set of arrows on the ground. Read on.
And he smote thrice.
And he shot.
Smote.
And he smote what?
Smote. And he smote thrice.
Smote.
Smote thrice and stayed.
He say, so the king of Israel shot 3 more arrows on the ground, and he stopped. Did Elisha tell him to shoot 3 arrows?
No.
He just said shoot on the ground. So he shot 3 times, and he stopped. Read on.
And the man of the Most High was wroth with him.
Was what?
Wroth with him.
He was angry at him. Elisha told him, listen, man, what are you doing, man? Why did you only shoot 3 times? Read on.
And said, thou shouldst have smitten 5 or 6 times.
He said, you should have shot 5 or 6 arrows, man. You big dummy. Why is that? Read on.
Then hadst thou smitten Syria till thou hadst consumed it. Whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice.
He said, if each arrow represented destruction to your enemies, then you should have kept shooting until all your enemies were destroyed. Exactly. You know what Elisha told him? You didn't take advantage of this opportunity. You lost an opportunity by not shooting as many arrows as you were supposed to shoot. Because all your enemies could have been destroyed had you had this mentality. You know what he's showing them? That's the same thing we do. When you can see the Most High's presence with you, you waste the damn opportunity. You know what you do? We stop studying. We stop praying. We think we get to a point where we say we're good. Because that's what happened to the king of Israel. He got to the point and said, you know what? 3 arrows is enough. I'm good with 3. That's why Elisha said, what are you doing? You know what? You know why Elisha told him this? Read on in the chapter.
And Elisha died.
And what happened after that?
Elisha died.
So what was his opportunity now? Gone. Here it is. You got one opportunity. You got one chance to have all your enemies delivered straight from a prophet of the Most High while he's standing in front of you. And all you did was say, okay, I shot 3, I'm good. Three's enough. No, you know what? When you get the opportunity, when the Most High gives you an opportunity to change, the whole point of this is you better take full advantage of it. You better not waste it. You better not waste this time. You better not waste this opportunity. Because that's what a lot of people do in this truth. They come in this truth and they start wasting time. And that's the only thing that you keep losing. And other people keep taking advantage of this time and they ain't shooting 3 arrows. They shooting as many arrows as they get. You know what that means? I'm going to come to every class I can. That means I'm going to study as often as I can. That means I'm going to pray with intensity as many times as I can. You know, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people get to the point where I serve the Most High and I think my little 3 arrows is good enough. Your 3 arrows ain't good enough, man. Your 3 arrows that you shoot every day doesn't get the results that you need to see a real change. You know what he's showing them? Those 3 arrows, that could have been that wasn't enough to completely annihilate your battles. Now you still got enemies to fight. He said you should have shot 6 or 7 times and completely destroyed your enemies. You know what that means? You could have overcome all your battles had you tried more, had you believed more. You wouldn't have no battles in front of you. You wouldn't have the struggles that you have every day if you keep pushing harder than you've been pushing before. That's the lesson in this. That's why you still got battles. You know why you still got battles you haven't overcome on a daily basis? Because you're not doing enough. When the Most High give you the time and opportunity, you don't take full advantage of it. You get to the point where you say, I'm good. I'm okay. This should be enough. How do you know it's enough? And that's what Elisha told him. What are you doing, man? You should have shot more. How do you know that's enough to overcome your battle? How do you know your level of study is enough to overcome your battle? How do you know your level of prayer is enough to let the Most High, where the Most High can hear you? How do you know? You don't know. But you know what the Most High bless it on? Your desire. That's how you know. Because you get to a certain point and you stop. And you say that's good enough. You don't know if it's good enough. You know what you did? You wasted an opportunity. That's the whole lesson in that. And that's what we do. We waste opportunities. We let opportunities and chance pass us by, and then we say, "Well, I wonder what I'm scratching my head. I wonder why I still got these battles. I wonder why I'm still playing with these thoughts." Well, there's a reason why you're playing with these thoughts, because you haven't defeated these thoughts, because you've been wasting your time. You didn't do what's necessary to defeat these thoughts. You haven't done enough to overcome these situations, and that's the foolery that Israel have. That I expect these massive amount of results and presence of the Most High and blessings, but I don't give enough, and I don't do enough. But I think the Most High is supposed to just come out the sky and just change my life. Well, you know what? You better have some performance and a desire that matches that work ethic and that request or that solicitation. You better have something that match it. That's why Proverbs 12 and 27 is gold. Read it again.
Proverbs 12 and verse 27. The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in honey.
You know why? Because I don't want, you know what? I want to eat. Meaning I want nourishment. I want to be fed, but I'm too damn lazy to do what's necessary to feed me. You want your spirit fed, right? Then why don't you do what's necessary to feed your spirit? Read on.
But the substance of a diligent man is precious.
But you know what? You know what people that's diligent do? They take full advantage of their opportunities. You know what? If King Joash was diligent, he would have shot more arrows, because he would have wanted a complete destruction of his enemies. If this is what these arrows represent, then I would take full advantage of all the arrows I got. You know what the Most High giving you? You don't know how many arrows you got. You know what the arrows represent? Opportunities. You know what the Most High give you every day you wake up? An opportunity. What did you do with the day? Did you waste the day? Did you bullshit the day? Did you blow off the day? Did you not do nothing in the day? How fervent were you in the day? Because that's what represents them damn arrows. Every day you get up in the morning, that's a damn arrow. The Most High giving you a chance to overcome your situation. But we wonder why we're in the same boat. We wonder why nothing's changing. I don't know. I'm scratching my head. I don't know why things aren't changing. Everybody's growing around me but me. Because you're wasting time. You're bullshitting. That's the truth. A lot of people doing that. You could have been attacking your circumstance every day. The Most High is fair, man. The Most High is fair. James chapter 1 verse 5. The Most High is very fair. Ain't the Most High's fault.
James chapter 1 and verse 5. Read it.
Read it.
James chapter 1, verse 5 reads, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally.
How does he give to all men?
Liberally.
He gives to all men how?
Liberally.
Does the Most High give you that? Does the Most High give every man the same opportunity?
Come.
Does the Most High say, you know what? I'm not going to give you wisdom. I'm not going to give you understanding. I'm not going to give you an opportunity to grow.
Lie.
No, the Most High don't do that. He's fair across the board. But what separates growth is consistency. What separates growth is diligence or lack thereof. What separates growth is consistency. That's what separates growth. Read on.
That giveth to all men liberally.
Read on.
And upbraideth not.
Meaning, upbraideth means to hold back. The Most High does not hold back his knowledge, his relationship, or his understanding from nobody. He doesn't hold it back. Read on.
And it shall be given him.
If you ask, it shall be what?
Given him.
But you better ask how. Read on.
But let him ask in faith.
You better be confident, and you better have a performance, and you better have some type of ethic behind and intensity behind your request for what you're asking for. There better be some actions involved. That's what the Most High want to see. Does your desire match your effort? If your efforts and your desires line up, the Most High hear you out. He'll know you're serious. He'll take you serious. Read on.
But let him ask in faith.
But he better ask in what?
Faith.
Go ahead.
Nothing wavering.
That way you can't be inconsistent. You can't be strong today. I don't know. I just kind of want to just smoke a cigarette and go back and just do what I used to do.
Reminisce a little bit.
Light me a blunt up and just where I didn't have to worry about nothing, and I can just coast. I just sleep my problems away. And people want the easy way out. You can't get change not facing adversity. Not being without inspiration, without motivation, without dedication. You cannot expect change. Especially when you have a chance to change your living conditions. Prove that. Go to Joshua chapter 1, verse 3. You know what this truth does? This truth gives you a chance to change your living conditions. 1 and 3. Joshua chapter 1, verse 3.
Joshua chapter 1 and verse 3.
Read that.
Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon.
You know what the Most High told Joshua? He said, listen, man, every place that the sole of your feet touch, go ahead.
That have I given unto you.
He said I will give it to you. So the Most High is doing what? The Most High is establishing the relationship of what he can do for Joshua. He's establishing the benefits of serving him. He said, everywhere your foot touch, he said, I will do what?
Give unto you.
So he's establishing a stance. And he's showing them that I have the power to change your living condition. All this could be yours. Read on.
As I said unto Moses.
Just like I said unto Moses. Read on.
From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Read on.
All the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea, toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast.
It said it shall be your what?
Coast.
All this belongs to you. Read on.
There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life.
And the Most High is showing them that I'm with you. As long as I'm with you, nobody's going to be able to stop you. Read on.
As I was with Moses, so will I be with thee.
He said, just like I was with Moses, I will be with you. Read on.
I will not fail thee.
He said, what?
I will not fail thee.
The Most High is guaranteeing the what?
The victory.
He's guaranteeing the victory. The victory is guaranteed. He's guaranteeing success. Do as I'm asking you to do, and I'll change your living condition. Follow my instruction, and I got all this in store ready for you to inherit. Read on.
Nor forsake thee.
He said, and I will not fail you, and I will not leave you hanging. He's already given him the confirmation necessary to just perform. But you still know what's needed? What's needed?
Courage. Strength.
Courage. He needs courage. He needs desire. He needs belief. He needs faith. But more than anything, he needs actions. See, the Most High can promise you everything. As a matter of fact, that's what the Most High do anyway. Go to Luke 12 and 32 real quick. The Most High already got things promised to us. But you know what he's waiting on? He's still 12 and 32. Luke 12 and 32. You know what the Most High is doing? He's still waiting on you to do exactly what he's asking you to do, even though he told you, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not going to forsake you. I'm not going to fail you. I'm going to bless you in everywhere you go in life. You know what the Most High is still waiting on? He's still waiting on you to move. He's still waiting on your performance. Read that.
Luke chapter 12, verse 32 reads, Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure.
It says, fear not, little flock. Don't be afraid to serve the Most High. He said, it is your Father's what?
Good pleasure.
Good pleasure to give you the kingdom.
He said, it is the Most High's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The kingdom is already guaranteed, but you still got to prove it.
True.
The kingdom is already set up, but you still got to put forth the effort necessary to show the Most High how bad you want it. The kingdom is given to those that show the Most High they want it real bad. That's who it's given to. How bad do you want it? Matter of fact, finish that in Joshua chapter 1 verse 5 real quick. Go back to Joshua chapter 1 verse 5.
Joshua chapter 1 and verse 5.
Ready, read that.
There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life.
Go ahead.
As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee.
Read on.
I will not fail thee.
He said, I will not what?
Fail thee.
Read on.
Nor forsake thee.
Read on.
Be strong.
He said, be what?
Be strong.
All the Most High is asking from you is to be what?
Strong.
Be firm. Don't be wavering. Be dedicated. Be consistent. Be diligent. Read on.
And of a good courage.
He said, and of what?
And of a good courage.
Stop crumbling under pressure. Stop folding when things aren't comfortable for you. Why don't you develop some type of temperance, some type of faith? Why don't you walk with that quality of mind that helps you encounter danger? Because that's what courage is. It's the quality of mind that aids you or assists you when fear is upon you. When you're afraid of something. You can either say, you know what, I'm too afraid to move forward. Or you can say, you know what, the Most High is with me, I'm going to keep going. And if you don't have that presence of mind, you better pull somebody else. You better lean on somebody else's faith. You better counsel. You better talk to your elders. Because you know what your elders got? Your elders got about 100 testimonies to show you how they overcame their situation. They got plenty of them. And then when they run out of testimonies, they're going to point you to the Bible so you can read some more testimonies of what happened to people when they were in situations, in particular straits in their life, in conditions in their life that was uncomfortable, but the Most High helped them through them all. If you don't have that quality of mind as you go to work every day, then you better get that quality of mind. Because that's the only thing that he's asking Joshua to have. Just have this quality of mind. He said, only be thou strong and of what?
Good courage.
And of good courage. You better define the definition and learn what it means to have courage in the Most High. Because you're going to need it in order to get what the Most High has to offer you. That's why it says, have no fear, little children. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You know what the kingdom's going to come? It's going to come with tribulation. It's going to come with dedication, sacrifice, loss, obstacles. It's going to come with temptation. You're not going to get the kingdom for nothing. It's going to come through tribulation. The scripture says the righteous shall scarcely make it. You better try your ass off. You better fight. Read on.
Come. For unto this people
He said, for unto this people, read on.
shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land.
He said, I'm gonna split up this whole land for y'all. I'm gonna give each one of y'all separate living arrangement and living condition. The Most High can directly influence your living condition. But it's your responsibility to develop courage in the Most High. That's your job. Read on.
Which I swear unto their fathers to give them.
All these promises are set up. The kingdom is set up. The fact that he said you're already chosen for the kingdom. You've already been selected for the kingdom. But you still got to perform. And that's why Paul said this. Go here real quick. I'm sorry, James, not Paul. Go to James chapter 2. And I want you to start at verse 14.
James 2. James chapter 2, verse 14.
Whoever got it.
What does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith?
They say, what good is it if a man say he got what?
Faith.
What good is it if you walking around talking about you an Israelite? Talking about you a child of the Most High. You a daughter of Zion. Or you a son of the Most High. He said, what good is it if you walking around with your faith? Read on.
And have not works.
And you don't have what?
Not works.
You don't have works to back it up. What good is it? You know what the Most High got? He got all these promises in store. But he's waiting on you to do what? To come with the works. You got to put the work in. You want to inherit what the Most High has to offer you? You got to get busy. You got to get to work. Don't be sitting around expecting change to just happen to you. You better get up and perform something. You better couple your desire with some type of action. You better match your words with your actions. They better go together. Read on.
Can faith save him?
It says what?
Can faith save him?
Can your faith save you by yourself? For the fact that I'm walking around talking about I'm an Israelite? Can faith alone save you with no works? No. You got to get busy. And this is what people don't understand. Words alone, like that we had just brought out, that's insufficient. Read on.
If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food,
You better see the need and fill it. You better see the need of the body and fill it. Now we had a question about why am I still angry? Now I'm just saying we'll answer that too. Hold tight on that question. It says we're gonna come back and answer that question right there. It says there are things coming that make me angry. I take courage and I'm keep moving like you say, but I still don't understand why I keep getting angry. Now if I understand, now I don't know how long you've been watching the classes, but for the sister asking the question online, but I taught a class about being angry. About angry. It says angry with a question mark. Now, what I recommend, watch that class about being angry, and then we'll come back and answer that question. But to give you a quick answer, if I'm still angry, that means what? I'm mad at the Most High. They say, he that despises not man, but who?
The Most High.
Because I'm still not looking at the Most High the right way. And this is what is necessary that you need to be reminded of. He says, can faith save you without works? Now, to show you an example of this, somebody has to convince you to mitigate your anger. Somebody has to have the ability to change you out of that anger. You need to be around sisters. You need to be around brothers. Matter of fact, go to Ecclesiasticus and Apocrypha. Go to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha. And I want you to read chapter 7, or Sirach. Some brothers say Sirach. Yeah.
Verse what?
Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 7, and I want you to read verse. Give me verse 16.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 16. Number not thyself among the multitude of sinners.
It says, "Don't put yourself around what?
The multitude of sinners.
Oh yeah. It says, number not thyself among the multitude of what?
Sinners.
That means that if I'm still getting angry, then I'm hanging around who?
Sinners.
I'm hanging around the wrong people. Angry people. You need to get around people that don't walk with this emotion, that don't walk with this chip on their shoulder. I got to be around peaceable people. I got to be around patient people. I got to be around loving people. I got to be around people that don't stir up my anger. He says, number not thyself with what?
The multitude of sinners.
Go ahead.
But remember that wrath will not tarry long.
It says, because the wrath of the Most High, that means I only have a certain amount of time to change who I am. I got to put myself around the right group of people, and I gotta start making these changes right away as soon as possible. That means if I'm angry, if I'm emotional, if I'm walking in the flesh, I got to start putting myself around positive people. I can't be with people that don't understand these things. And scriptures say, what have the relation have the sheep with the wolf, or the sinner with the godly? What relation do they have? I got to start putting myself around individuals that acquire or trying to acquire these godly concepts. Give me the definition of mitigate. Hold that, let that go, and give me in the Josephus. I don't know if you got the Josephus, but we're gonna read the Josephus, and we're gonna read something real quick.
Mitigate.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Hold that definition. Give me in the Josephus. I want you to go to page. Give me page 79 in the Josephus. We're gonna show something real quick. This is the Josephus. Get one. The complete works of Josephus. We're just going to pull a point out to help answer that question, to show that this is the nature of our people. Page 79, book 3, Antiquities of the Jews, book 3, chapter 1, paragraph 4. Start at paragraph 4.
Antiquities of the Jews, book 3, chapter 1, and paragraph 4.
And this is why I say you got to get around people that are not numbered amongst the sinners. Get away from people that don't understand these godly concepts, that are not trying to acquire these virtues, this patience, this meekness, this piety, this long suffering. Go ahead.
But as for Moses himself, while the multitude were irritated.
It says, but Moses, he says, while the multitude were what?
Irritated.
It says Moses had a certain mentality walking amongst the children of Israel who were what?
Irritated.
They were irritated. Read on.
And bitterly set against him.
And they were what?
Bitterly set against him.
Moses, through his meekness, which is one of these virtues, these godly virtues, he was able to use meekness, which is the ability to endure injury patiently without resentment. So Moses had this ability to not convert his emotion or his situation and for it to get the best of him, take people personal, even when they were trying to hurt him, even when they had it out to kill him and get rid of him. He said Moses had the capacity to operate around people that was completely contrary with him. Read on.
He cheerfully relied upon the Most High.
And when you're in a situation when your back is against the wall, or people are contrary to you or standing in opposition to you, you have to lean that much more on who?
The Most High.
The Most High. That means I can't look and judge my circumstance as it's getting the best of me. I got to lean on the Most High that much more to overcome my circumstance. Read on.
And upon his consciousness of the care he had taken of these his own people.
He says he had a positive outlook towards the Most High, and he had a positive outlook to the responsibility of being the leader to the people, being a shepherd to the flock. Read on.
And he came into the midst of them, even while they clamored against him,
Even while they clamored against him. Read on.
and had stones in their hands.
And they had what?
Stones in their hands.
So even when people are out to harm you, even when people are out to stone you, does that mean you have to give in to the circumstance? No. Read on.
In order to dispatch him.
To get rid of them. Read on.
Now he was of an agreeable presence, and very able to persuade the people by his speeches.
Go ahead.
Accordingly, he began to mitigate their anger.
Moses had the capacity to mitigate people's anger. What is the definition of the word mitigate?
To make less severe.
So Moses had the capacity, by leaning on the Most High even that much more, he had the capacity to put water on people's fire. He was able to extinguish the wrath and anger of the people around him so it didn't affect him. Even when they were out to hurt him. Even when they were out to kill him. He didn't let their anger affect him. Read on.
And exhorted them not to be over mindful.
It says, and exhorted them not to be over mindful, but more in that definition of mitigate.
It says, reduce, diminish, alleviate, to make less serious or painful.
So that means that when you lean on the Most High that much more, the Most High gives you an ability to ventilate or to have a pressure relief valve for your situation. There's always a way to calm the situation. There's always a way to mitigate the circumstance. The scriptures say in Proverbs 15:1, what? A soft answer does what?
Turneth away wrath.
Turneth away wrath. So there's always, if I lean on the Most High that much more, there's always ways to lessen the degree of the severity of my situation and my circumstance. I can reduce the passion of other people that are against me to where it doesn't affect me. That other people's situation or anger doesn't have to affect me directly. Read on. In the Josephus.
Of their present adversities.
He says, he began to mitigate their anger and exhorted them not to be over mindful or over consumed, because a lot of people are drowning in wrath. A lot of people are drowning in anger. They're overthrown by their emotion. Read on.
Lest they should thereby suffer the benefits.
It says, if you don't get control of your emotions, Moses had a great ability to tell people how to control their damn self. If you don't get a hold of your emotions and your anger and your feelings, you're going to lose out on what?
The benefits.
You're going to lose out on the benefits, read on,
that had formerly been bestowed on them.
they're already promised to you. He's showing them, listen, if you don't get your act together, you don't get your mind together, you don't get a hold of your emotions, you're going to lose out on what the Most High has already promised to you. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. You know why? Because this is what Joshua had to endure anyway. Matter of fact, not to skip to it, but we're gonna get to the point anyway, because this is about courage, man. Hold this real quick. Go to Joshua chapter 5 and start at verse 2.
No.
Joshua chapter 5. Start at verse 2.
Joshua chapter 5 and verse 2.
Read on down.
Come. Joshua chapter 5 and verse 2 reads, At that time the Lord said unto Joshua, Make these sharp knives.
He told Joshua, listen, when Joshua came in power, we just read what the Most High told him to have. He said, only be thou strong and of good courage. And I'm going to bless everywhere you walk. Every place the sole of your feet touch, you're going to own it. To the great sea, to the Euphrates River. Read on. He said, only be thou strong and of good courage. But the Most High came back a few chapters later and told him what? I want you to do something. I want you to make sharp knives. And do what?
And circumcise again the children of Israel the second time.
He said, go back and recircumcise the children of Israel a second time. Go back and cut up them children of Israel. Why is that? Why is he saying, go back and recircumcise them? Let's find out. Read on.
And Joshua made him sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskin.
At the hill of the foreskin, right? Go ahead.
And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise
Go ahead.
all the people that came out of Egypt.
He said this is why Joshua had to go back and recircumcise the children of Israel. Moses circumcised them the first time. They had to get circumcised by Joshua. Why? Read on.
That were males, even all the men of war,
Read on.
died in the wilderness by the way.
He said all the males and the men of war died where?
In the wilderness by the way,
Go ahead.
after they came out of Egypt.
After they came out of Egypt. Go ahead.
Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way, as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised.
He said the Most High had to kill off a generation. You know the generation that had to die off? Who was the generation that we're reading about in Josephus on page 79? What happened to that generation? The ones that was complaining about their circumstance. The ones that lacked courage. The ones that always had something to say. Yes, sir?
They missed out on the benefits.
They missed out on the benefits. You know what the Most High had to do with them? He had to get rid of all of them. The ones that wanted to stone Moses, he had to get rid of them. They didn't have the right mindset. They didn't have courage. They complained about every situation that they came against, and every situation they had an issue. They lacked courage, and that's why the Most High had to eliminate them. That's why they died off. All of them. All the men of war, and the only ones these are the you know what the Most High had to do? He had to bring up a whole new generation that was born in the wilderness. They was born throughout the tribulation of walking in the wilderness. You know what the Most High had to do? He had to just dismiss the previous generation and start a new one. Start working with a new one. Because they didn't have no damn faith. And they didn't have no damn courage. And all they did was complain. And they really didn't want to change. Read on.
Verse 6. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness.
Go ahead.
Till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were circumcised, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord.
Because they did what?
Obeyed not the voice of the Lord.
Read on.
Unto whom the Lord sware that he would not show them the land.
The Most High said, I swear you won't receive the benefits. Because all you do is complain. And you don't want to change. Because you don't got no faith. Because you don't got no courage. Because you don't have no consistency. And you don't have no desire. You need works. You just can't walk around saying, I believe. Your works better demonstrate your faith. Your faith and your words and your actions must line up. If you want to receive the benefits that the Most High got for you. That's why Paul said, that's why James said, will faith alone save me? No. Matter of fact, finish reading that.
God. Unto whom the Lord sware that he would not show them the land, which the Lord sware unto their fathers, that he will give us a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Go ahead.
And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way.
Now go back to James, what we was talking about. You got to have some works, man. That's why that whole generation had to die off. They didn't have no courage. They didn't have no faith in the Most High. Finish that in James chapter 2 and jump down to start at verse 17.
James 2 and verse 17. Even so faith, if it hath not works, it is dead.
If you're just talking about changing, but you're not making no changes, then your works are empty. Your works are in vain. It's just talk. That's all it is. You got to put forth some type of actions that match what you're asking the Most High for. When you're asking the Most High for a blessing, or you asking for the Most High's presence, then put the work in to get the Most High's attention. Read on.
Come. Being alone. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith.
A man could say, I got what?
Thou hast faith.
A lot of men say they got faith. A lot of women say they got faith. Read on.
And I have works.
And they say, well, you know what? You got faith. I got works. Read on.
Show me thy faith without thy works.
Paul said, James said, you know what? Show me your faith without your works. You know what he's saying? This is impossible. He said, you can't show me your faith without your works. Works go hand in hand with faith. My belief is only valid if it's matched by works, if it's matched by actions. Otherwise, my belief is vanity. Read on.
And I will shew thee my faith by my works.
And James said, I will show you my faith by my what?
My works.
I don't have to talk about having faith. I don't have to tell you I got faith. I don't have to convince you I got faith. He said, but if you watch my actions, it will show you that I have what?
Faith.
Read on.
Thou believest that there is one God.
Right? We all believe in the Most High, right? Read on.
Thou doest well.
He said, that's good. You in the truth? You got this knowledge? Good for you. You know you're an Israelite? Great. Awesome. Cheers. High five. Read on.
The devils also believe.
But guess who also believe in the Most High?
The devils also believe.
So what actions are you going to perform that are different from the devils? Because even the devils believe in the Most High. So how are your actions going to be contrary from the devils? Because devils believe too. Read on.
And tremble.
And they tremble. So what is going to differentiate your actions from the devils? Devils believe. Read on.
But wilt thou know, O vain man?
He said, but old vain man, who's walking around talking about you believe. Read on.
That faith without works is dead.
Don't you understand that faith and works go together? You got to do more than just profess who you are. You got to do more than just say, I'm an Israelite. You got to do more than just walk around and say, I believe in the Most High. There's more to it than that. And if you want to see the Most High work for you, and if you want to see the Most High assist you, and you want to see the Most High come through, and you want to inherit the benefits that the Most High has in store, then put forth some damn works. Get up and go to work for the Most High. Then the Most High can believe you. Read on.
Was not Abraham our father?
They said, was not Abraham our what?
Our father.
Read on.
Justified by works.
But even Abraham, our father, had to get put to what? He had to get put to the test. Guess what Abraham had to do? Who did he have to sacrifice? He had to put his son on the altar. Because you know what the Most High want to know? Do you believe? Having a relationship with the Most High, it takes faith. It takes courage. You have to adopt a certain quality of mind to show the Most High that I believe no matter what adversity you put me through. Because that was Abraham's adversity. That was Abraham's challenge. Now I got to kill my own son, the one I've been praying for all this time. I got to put him on the altar. You really going to do this? I prayed for this son. You really going to make me sacrifice him? He didn't say that. If this is what you want me to do, then this is what will happen. You know what? Yes.
So what works do we have to do to acquire this faith?
You know what? And this is a great question. What works will we have to do to acquire this faith? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Let's keep reading. I ain't forget the question. I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
When he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar, seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect.
It says read that one more time.
Okay. James 2:22. Seest thou how faith wrought with his works,
Go ahead.
and by works was faith made perfect.
It says by works was faith made what?
Perfect.
So what do you have to do? Put in work, right? Now the question you asked was what?
What do you have to do to acquire this? What works do you have to put in to acquire this faith?
Go to Hebrews chapter 10, verse 36.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 36 reads,
Read that.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 36 read, "For ye have need of patience."
It says, first of all, you need what?
Patience.
You're going to need some what?
Patience.
You're going to need some patience. Go ahead.
That after ye have done the will of the Most High.
It says, then you got to do what?
Done the will of the Most High.
Then you got to learn how to do the what?
Will of the Most High.
You got to learn how to do the will of the Most High. What does that mean? Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 14.
1 Corinthians 9 and verse 14.
You're going to need some patience. And you have to ask the Most High. You got to go to work, and you're going to have to wait. And keep doing his will. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 14.
Come. Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel.
Now I can't just be a hearer of the word. I gotta become a what?
Doer.
I gotta become a doer of the word. Doing what? What do I must do now? What kind of works the Most High want me to see? What kind of works does he want to put forth to show that I believe? Go to Hebrews chapter 10 and read verse 25.
Come. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25. Read.
Read that.
Not forsaking the assembly. Salakia, let me start up. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
It says, if I'm going to be a doer of the word, then I'm not going to let anything cause me to forsake my presence, my body, my participation, my involvement, my work ethic with who?
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
It says, if I'm going to be, if it says, he said he ordained that anybody that does what? That preach the gospel shall what?
Be a doer.
No.
Should live of the gospel.
I shall live of the gospel. What does that mean? That means that the Most High is requiring that I will not let anything stop me from doing what?
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
So does my school is more important than my assembling together with the body? Is my job more important than my assembling of the body? Is there any excuses why I can't be with the body? So what kind of works the Most High want to see me do then? Come together at all costs. Don't let nothing stop you from being a part of this body. You need to jump in this body and be involved in this body 24/7 all day. He said, forsake not the what?
The assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is.
Because some people don't want to give themselves 100%. You know what the Most High want to see? Are you gonna have some excuses? Are you really gonna just jump all the way in and serve the Most High 1,000%? Or are you gonna make excuses of why you can't be involved with the body? He said, as the sum of matter is, go ahead.
But exhorting one another.
He said, but you know what? You got to encourage one another to get to this point. Go ahead.
And so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
And you got to keep exhorting people to do this, to be this involved at this level, especially knowing that what?
As ye see the day approaching.
As you know, you see the day approach. What day is he talking about?
End times.
The end times, man. That's why Zephaniah 2:1 says what? And somebody else read Romans 13:11.
Zephaniah 2:1.
Zephaniah 2:1. Somebody else read Romans 13:11.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
I'm not going to let nothing stop me from doing what?
Gather yourselves together.
Yeah, that's the works the Most I want you to see. Especially knowing that we're in the last days. How quick are you going to be a part of this body? He said, gather yourselves together, what?
Yea, gather together, O nation, not desired.
Read on.
Before the decree, it's like, before the decree, bring forth.
He said, because time is running out. Didn't we read earlier that the substance of the diligent is precious?
Okay.
So what the hell is precious then? Go to Romans 13:11.
Romans 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time.
Because you know what time it is, man. Because you know what time it is. You know damn well we in the last days. And I don't got a lot of time to show the Most High that I believe. So I ain't going to let nothing stop me from coming together with the body. Read on.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time.
When?
That now it is high time.
Tomorrow.
Now it is high time.
I'll get with the body next month.
Now it is high time.
I'll be a full-time Israelite next year.
Now it is high time.
I'm going to do this for a living.
Now it is high time.
Next week.
Now it is high time.
Man, it says now is the most important time. It's the most critical time. Especially because you know you're in the last days. That I need to do what?
Now it is high time.
Get with the body.
To awake out of sleep.
Go ahead.
For now is our salvation near than when we believe.
And that's why I said be not numbered with the sinners. Because Christ is on his way. Don't be found with the sinners. Don't be in cahoots. Don't be in agreement. He said, blessed is that servant when his Lord cometh, find so what?
Well doing.
So doing. Yes, sir.
I had scripture.
Yes.
Luke 12:47.
Go ahead. Read it.
Luke chapter 12, verse 47. And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself.
He knew the Lord's will and didn't what?
Prepared not himself.
He didn't prepare himself. Go ahead.
Neither did according to his will.
Neither did according to his will. What is the Most High's will? His will is that we come together. But I didn't want to come together. Then it's too late. Read on.
Shall be beaten with many stripes.
Because you knew that's what the Most High required. Read on.
Verse 48. But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes.
Back to Joshua. We're going to end it. And help answer the question?
God.
We're going to end it. Go back to Joshua. Matter of fact, hold on. Read this in the Josephus. I want to read one more in the Josephus. Go to page 128 in the Josephus. Go to chapter 11, Antiquities of the Jews, book 5, chapter 11. Book 5, chapter 1, paragraph 11, page 128.
Con. Antiquities of the Jews, book 5, chapter 1, paragraph 11. Now the place where Joshua pitched his camp was called Gilgal, which denotes liberty.
He said, which denotes what?
Liberty.
You know why this place of Gilgal denotes liberty? What happened in Gilgal? We were just reading it a minute ago. Somebody go back to Joshua chapter 5 real quick. Yes. What happened in Gilgal and why does it denote liberty right here? He's talking about it. Go to Joshua chapter 5. I'm sorry. And
What?
I'll get it. 7 again. Mawala had read it earlier. Read that. Read on down to 9.
Joshua chapter 5 verse 7. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp, till they were whole.
It says they stayed there after they were circumcised until they was what?
Whole.
Until they was healed. Go ahead.
And the Most High said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt.
You know why it says in the Josephus that in Gilgal it denotes liberty? Because it was after this second circumcision, after the Most High wiped out the non-believers and the bitter ones that didn't have the right mentality when it came, they didn't have no courage when it came to facing adversity. All they want to do is complain. He said the Most High in Gilgal, after the second circumcision, he said the Most High did what? No, read it again. You just missed it.
He rolled away the reproach.
Exactly. He said the Most High did what?
Rolled away the reproach.
He said he let it go. That means that the Most High wasn't angry with that new generation that Joshua was bringing up, because the previous generation, all they did was complain. And they had no damn faith. And they had no confidence. They had no courage. Yes.
It's like they were so out of touch they didn't even circumcise. The fact that none of them were even circumcised, they were.
Well, it wasn't that they was out of touch. It says they were uncircumcised because of the condition that the situation or the circumstance.
To say like they couldn't do it?
Like this, it gave a reason as why they were, because of the way that they were going, they didn't take the time to circumcise them.
Yeah.
But it still didn't change the fact that the Most High was bitter at that generation.
Okay.
And it still didn't change the fact that the Most High didn't wipe away that generation because of the fact that they lacked confidence in him, courage in him.
True. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So now we know the Most High in Gilgal, he said he rolled away the what?
The reproach.
That's when the Most High said, you know what? I'm gonna let this generation slide, and I'm not gonna hold it against this generation.
What is that?
This is Joshua chapter 5.
This is crazy. 1 Samuel 11:14 says the same thing almost. It says, then said Samuel to the people, come and let us go to Gilgal and renew the kingdom there.
So Gilgal is the renewal of what? It's the where you get refreshed at.
It's like go back.
It's where you get your sins forgiven.
It's
You know, it's a reset. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you slide. You know what? But the Most High said, I'm not gonna hold it against this generation. Go back to let that go and go back to where we was at in Josephus.
The Antiquities of the Jews, Book 5, Chapter 1, Paragraph 11. Now the place where Joshua pitched his camp was called Gilgal,
Go ahead.
which denotes liberty.
And that's why we know why it denotes liberty, because what happened there?
For since now,
Because their sins were forgiven.
For since now they had passed over Jordan, they looked on themselves as free from the miseries which they had undergone from the Egyptians,
Go ahead.
and in the wilderness. Now a few days after the calamity that befell Jericho, Joshua sent 3,000 armed men to take Ai, a city situate above Jericho. But upon the side of the people of Ai, with them they were driven back, and lost 36 of their men.
Go ahead.
When this was told the Israelites, it made them very sad and exceeding disconsolate. Not so much because of the relation the men that were destroyed bare to them, though those that were destroyed were all good men.
He
And
said the ones that lost their life was all what?
good men, and deserved their esteem, as by the despair it occasioned. For while they believed that they were already, in effect, in possession of the land, and should bring back the army out of the battles without loss, as the Most High had promised beforehand, they now saw, unexpectedly, their enemies bold with success. So they put sackcloth over their garments, and continued in tears and lamentation all the day,
Go ahead.
without the least inquiry after food.
They said you know what they said when they got into a circumstance where they felt like all is lost and our enemies got the best of us. What does Israel do at this time? He said they put on sackcloth and they petition whose help? They're petitioning for the Most High's help. That's what we should do when life is rough, when life is hard. If I'm at a low point in my life, then I petition for the Most High's help versus getting more angry. And that was the problem with the first generation. Instead of asking the Most High for more help and cleaving to the Most High the more, they started provoking the Most High to anger. How do we know this? Go to Hebrews chapter 3. Start at verse 8.
It's 3 and 8.
Yep. Read that.
Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 8. Harden not your hearts.
So instead of me humbling myself when things in life are rough, or I hit a wall, and cleaving to the Most High and petitioning for his safety and security in his presence, that previous generation did what? They got more angry at the Most High. I couldn't convert my outlook from the condition that I was in. I couldn't convert it to positive because I was so angry that the Most High had me in this situation. That's a lack of courage. And that's why they had to die. They didn't have that quality of mind that's necessary to get you through adversity. Read on.
Harden not your hearts, as in the provocation.
As in the what? When was the provocation? The provocation was in the wilderness. That 40 years of being in the wilderness, complaining for 40 years straight. Read on.
In the day of temptation in the wilderness.
And what the Most High was doing with them, he was testing them. But they didn't have the courage or the right mindset to get through it. Read on.
When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years.
Read on.
Wherefore I was grieved with that generation.
He said, I was what?
Grieved with that generation.
He said, man, that generation got on my damn nerves. They didn't have no damn courage. You know what? It's our responsibility to teach the new generation to have courage in the Most High. We got courage. We got some level of it. We have some testimonies as teachers of the Most High. We have testimonies of victory, how the Most High took a situation that was insurmountable. How it looked like it was non-beneficial and you wasn't going to see the other side of it, and there was no hope from what it looked like. And the doors were closed. We've seen it with our own eyes. That the Most High opens up ways that damn seem impossible. We've seen it. That's why you should ask your elders. Ask your fathers. Ask these elder sisters. Ask these elder brothers. They will give you 100 stories of how the Most High opened up a place out of nowhere. And how the Most High got them over and through a situation. But you know what? That's why it's our responsibility to raise up the next generation, which is y'all, so that when you in a situation, you got to put your faith that much more in the Most High. That's y'all's responsibility to have courage. We got courage and we got faith. And that's why we're in this position. It's not about bragging or nothing, but it's about the only thing that qualifies us to tell you what we're telling you is because we've been in situations that have looked lost and hopeless. And the Most High came through 100 times. I could write a book about how the Most High came through for me. I know Dawiyat in the war could too. And anybody else that teaches this truth in this camp could write a book on how the Most High came through for them. Those are facts. But that's y'all's. This is y'all's opportunity. This is about y'all's development. This is about y'all's relationship with the Most High. This is that next generation. Y'all got to have courage like Joshua had courage and led that new generation through what they were going through in their battles with the damn Canaanites in order to inherit the promised land. I'm not saying it's too late for us, but what I'm saying is we don't know how long it's going to be before Christ comes back. He might excel our time frame. We might pass on before Christ comes back. But you know who may still be here? Y'all going to be here. And if y'all going to be here, y'all still got to have courage. Y'all still can't let life get the best of you. When you hit a hard time or a hardship in the Most High, you got to cleave to the Most High that much more. Not like that old generation that the Most High had to kill off. Read on.
God. Wherefore, Slakia, Hebrews 3 and verse 10. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation.
Go ahead.
And said, they do always err in their heart.
They do always what?
Err in their heart.
They always deviate.
Yeah, that's what I say. Err means to stray.
To stray away. To deviate or to stray from one's true aim, course, or purpose in life. Here they go deviating again. Courage keeps you from deviating. It keeps you from being wavering. It keeps you steadfast. It keeps you immovable. You don't shake, you don't get brittle, and you don't get weak when you hit hard times. Read on.
and they have not known my ways.
And he said, they have not known my ways. Didn't Christ say the same thing? Do not err, my little children. Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of the Most High. You won't be able to see how the Most High can convert your circumstance and change your living condition if you don't have courage enough to get through what you're going through. Read on.
So I swear in my wrath.
He said, so I swear in my wrath that what?
They shall not enter into my rest.
He said they shall not see the promised land. Because they don't got no damn courage.
That was the promised land then. We got a new promised land now.
We got a new kingdom waiting.
It means the same principle.
Not just of milk and honey,
God.
but everlasting life. We got an opportunity for a greater promised land. Let that go. Finish that in the Josephus. When page 129, paragraph 13.
Antiquities of the Jews. Book 5, chapter 1, paragraph 13. When Joshua saw the army so much afflicted and possessed with 4 bodies of evil as to their whole expedition, he used freedom with the Most High.
He used what?
Freedom with the Most High.
Am I going to look at the Most High and say, you know what, regardless of my situation, man, as long as I stick with the Most High, I'm free? The Most High going to help me, he going to preserve me, he going to save me out of this situation. This is the courage that Joshua had. That regardless of his situation, the Most High, we're not stuck or bound or I'm doomed in this circumstance. That was the courage that Joshua had. Read on.
And said, we are not come thus far out
And we didn't get this far for what?
of any rashness of our own.
He said, listen, we didn't get this far by ourselves.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because when we get a little bit of victory,
Come.
a little bit of success, you have went over last couple classes about Joshua.
Just run. Yep.
And when there's all of a sudden we come out of that fear and that doubt, so like in a little success, Israel gets amnesia.
Yep.
They get caught up into their blessings and get caught up into the Most High reward.
They get forgetful.
And get real forgetful. So that's another reason why we don't get the kingdom out.
Yep.
It's a stumbling block for us.
It's a stumbling block.
Thinking it's us.
I got myself to this point. Nope. He said somebody has to talk sense into you to let you know that you didn't get this far by yourself. Read on.
As though we thought ourselves able to subdue this land with our own weapons.
With our own, like the Most High, like we're so strong. I got myself to this point in my life. No, you didn't.
My own weapons.
Yeah, it was your strategy, right? It was your smarts, your intellect that got you this far in life. No, it wasn't. That's why Joshua wasn't. He wasn't quick to forget where his blessings came from, where his protection came from, where his confidence came from. He wasn't quick to forget that. Read on.
But as the instigation of Moses, thy servant, for this purpose.
He said Moses was trying to teach you that it was the Most High. It was through the Most High's assistance that you got where you're going. Read on.
Because thou hast promised us by many signs that thou wouldest give us this land.
He said the Most High. He said the Most High has promised us by many signs that we was gonna get this land. Give me one of them signs. Go back to Joshua, chapter. Give me one of them signs. Go back to Joshua, chapter 5, verse 13.
Joshua chapter 5, verse 13. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho.
It says, when Joshua, after he had already circumcised the children of Israel, that new generation, they celebrated the Passover. After they celebrated the Passover, what happened? Read that
And he
again.
lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand.
He said a man stood over against him in opposition to him with a sword drawn in his hand. Read on.
And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversary?
He said, are you on our side or are you an enemy of us? Read on.
And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Most High.
He said, no, I'm a captain of the host of who?
The Most High.
What did the Most High send Joshua right in his face? An angel. After Joshua circumcised the children of Israel, after he celebrated the Passover, right before he was finna go to Jericho to war, the Most High sent a what? He sent an angel to him to show him what? I'm on your side. I'm from the Most High. Read on.
I am now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, What saith the Most High unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy.
He said, listen, take your shoes off your feet, because where you standing at is holy ground. You know what the Most High showed him? I'm with you in the battle, man. That's why he said, that's why Joshua has to convince these people that the Most High is always with you. He said, in many signs. That was one of them right there. You don't know when the Most High going to show you a sign that he's on your side. Read on. Let that go. Go back to Josephus.
Because thou hast promised us by many signs that thou wouldest give us this land for a possession.
Don't you think Joshua believed it when he saw that angel?
God.
That the Most High is a man of his word? Read on.
And that thou wouldest make our army always superior in war to our enemies.
Read on.
And according
even when we're outnumbered, like a war brought out on Monday. Even when the odds are against us. Even when the numbers aren't in our favor. That we still, as long as we got the Most High, we still have the victory. That's the courage you got to have. Read on.
And accordingly, some success has already attended upon us agreeably to thy promises. But because we have now unexpectedly been foiled and have lost some men out of our army.
Just because the situation got bad, we lost a couple of lives. Good men. They weren't bad men. We lost a couple of good men. That don't mean because the circumstance got bad that you should let go of your faith. That's what courage is about. You don't let go of your faith because situations get bad. Read on.
We are grieved at it, as fearing what thou hast promised us, and what Moses foretold us cannot be depended on by us. And our future expectation troubles us the more, because we have met with such a disaster in our first attempt.
He said, man, this is only our first attempt. You shouldn't let the loss of a couple of men, good men, persuade you that what Moses promised is not, you're not going to inherit. So what is he showing you? You're going to lose some good men along the way. Everything ain't going to go the way you planned it. But you know what? That don't mean you quit and give up because on your first attempt, it didn't work well.
So that's the initial turbulence and defeats.
Right. There's some battles and some battles were lost. Some lives were lost. There were some casualties to war. But you know what? Exodus 15:3 says the Lord is a man of what?
War.
He's a man of war. He's about war. So in war, there's going to be casualties. That don't mean you quit because there's casualties. Read on.
But do thou, O Lord, free us from these suspicions, for thou art able to find a cure for these disorders.
And that's why I said you're able. If I put my trust in you, you're able to give me a cure for the circumstance that I'm in.
I mean, there's no answer for you didn't need a cure for disorders. I mean, there's no answers, and people have a real major fear they don't have answers in a certain moment.
Exactly. Read on.
By giving us victory, which will both take away the grief we are in at present, and prevent our distrust as to what is to come.
So he said the only thing that Joshua understood is don't let this persuade us to quit on you and not have faith in you, but to lean upon you and understand that through the battle, through the adversity, you will provide us a cure for the circumstance, which is going to give us more confidence into serving you even that much more.
So some people say this failure was a sign the Most High is not there or he's not real. And some people use that failure or that loss as a reason to double up on their faith.
They could either double up and say, you know what, this is just the first attempt.
It's crazy.
So this is the kind of courage and faith that you have to have. That's why the class is called Walking with Courage. You need this to survive and function in your everyday living. You need it in your life. That's why I said, finish that in Hebrews 10 and 36, last scripture. Finish that.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 36.
Read that. Verse 35.
Verse 35. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence.
It says what?
Cast not away, therefore, your confidence.
That's why you should never cast away your confidence. You should always walk with courage. You should always walk with hope. Read on.
Which hath great recompense of reward.
Because it got a reward in the end. Read on.
For ye have need of patience.
It says, does the reward come first, or you have to be patient?
Okay.
You got to be patient first. That means your effort, you got to keep trying until the Most High reveal himself to you. Till he send an angel to you, like he did Joshua. Till he give you a word, a letter, or an ability to overcome your circumstance. Read on.
That after ye have done the will of the Most
It
High.
says, after you have done the will of the Most High. Then what?
Ye might receive the promise.
You might get the promise. Go ahead.
For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry.
He said, and Christ is the one that's coming, and it ain't gonna take too long. Christ already been gone for 2,500 years, or 2,000. What is this? 2021, 2021 years. 2000 they died about 3 BC. I mean at 3 AD. About 218, 2018 years. Ain't a long time. Ain't much more time left. Read on.
Verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith.
And it says, but from this point forward, if it says the just shall live by what?
Faith.
Then you got to have confidence. You got to have courage. That's how you got to live. Until Christ come back, you got to live by what?
By faith.
Read on.
But if any man draw back.
But if you draw back and you lose your faith, you quit, you get weak. Scripture say, be not weary in well doing. It said, if any man you quit, give up. If any man draw back, read on.
My soul shall have no pleasure in him.
Because you know what? That's exactly what he was telling Joshua, what's necessary to get the victory. You got to have this element or the state of mind that you can overcome anything through Christ. He said, if any man draw back, he said, my soul have not what?
No pleasure in him.
He said, will have no pleasure in him. But guess what? Read on. Here's the beauty of this generation. Read on.
But we are not of them.
Guess what? This generation is not made of quitters. We're not made of complain. We're not going to complain like in the day of provocation in Hebrews chapter 3. We're not going to complain about what the Most High got us going through. We're not going to complain about the situation that I got to endure. We're not going to complain about our circumstance or our living condition. He said, this generation, we're going to learn something from our elders. We're going to learn something from our previous forefathers that walked in the wilderness and died off. We're going to learn something from them. We're not going to do what they did and make their mistakes. He said, but this generation, what?
We are not of them who draw back.
But we're not going to quit. And we're not going to complain. And that's what you have to do. If you want to see the victory and let the Most High bless you in the end, that's how you must operate. Read on.
Who draw back unto perdition.
Go ahead.
But of them that believe.
But we're the ones that believe to what?
To the saving of the soul.
And that's why your courage has to get you to salvation. Any questions?
Wow.
All right. With that, we're going to say shalom.
Love.
And shalom Israel for watching.